Sonia, oh, Sonia, tous avec la foi pour le développement de Dieu. Good evening this Saturday. I'm taking you to La Côte d'Ivoire, right? So my young one day, you got my money today. You know the idea, you ain't no other no. So say you want to Marane Maya, so say Marane Maya. I'm just going to pay up the thing. I tell you, get the one. Raise your eye up. I tell you, look at one day. Sonia, you're baby. Sonia, you're baby. I want you so young, baby. I want you so young, baby. All right. Wow. Ooh. What a beautiful music here from my neighboring La Côte d'Ivoire. I'm Francis and so of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. In the interest of African solidarity, we decided to bring you that piece. That's part of our obligation here to showcase the quality, good culture of Africa, not just only Liberia. They are our neighbors, so we have to be very receptive to do what they are doing. I want to welcome all of my viewers and listeners across the globe, whatever you are. Good morning, good evening, welcome. It's a talking point. It's an open mic here this evening. Of course, my analysts, my guests, they're going to be here. But we will be having a conversation here. It's all about Liberia. And we want to welcome all of you. Open your minds. Let's be a free thinker. Let's be save it into the conversation. The bottom line here is we want the best to happen out of Liberia. So we need good leadership. We need people who will have the country at heart. And so sometimes people express their emotions, their sentiment, as they see it to be, but we also call for civility into our conversation, into our dialogue, because that's the only way out. That's the only way out here. So, as part of our community engagement, we try to do the best we can to have this conversation ongoing. Why, in as much you want to talk about politics, but our prayers and talk goes out to, for those of you who don't know yet, there was a mining disaster today that took many Liberians, Liberian lives in Bon County. Early this morning, we were notified by correspondent Betty Tino, and some of the images, viewer descriptions, advice, will be showing them here. But our prayers and talk goes out. Who knows? Those people, some of them might have voted just 2 days, and this morning they know more. That's how the world is. The uncertainty into this world. That's part of it. There. So our prayers and thought goes out to the people of Bon County, to the government and the people of Liberia, and to that community, the families, the kids, whoever family attachment is aside. Incident. So we want to recognize that. We want to bring that to you as well. That's Liberians. In the midst of us waiting for update from the provisional result of the midterm senatorial election, other things are happening. And that's one of the ugly situations that unfolded today. But we're going to be we're going to go that, but I want to look at the recovery process now. What is your view, to your own analysis, what you think, and what could be the recovery strategy here? The changes, is it good for the country? Is it bad? We don't know until these folks that will be elected or on their way to Capitol Hill, what exactly, how they're going to do it differently, how they're going to approach it. We had a conversation here, and it is important that those that will be elected, they must have that courage to work in a bipartisan direction so that they will be able to come to a consensus to do things for the country. It's not to appease your base or people that support you, but I think the overall picture is about the country, and we must recognize that it is very, very much important. I am Afonso Zian, so of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. Stay tuned.
I'm on set ready. Blessings, some blessings, you're coming blessings. These my blessings can all be touching. I know my level, my man, don't stress me. The puppy bless me, so I'm here to party. I want war, yellow zombie. I want body, I pro, yellow zombie. Batting up, bring a yellow zombie. I got a party, people dancing, yellow zombie. Sanko, me, I want to wear a quacko. Wait, bring the liquor. The poor man, someone spend the paper. Wait, bring the liquor. The poor man, someone spend the paper. I said nobody, I won't party. I want you to go down low. I want you to find it slow. Mama, you rock the show. I'm ready to spend some more. And I'm gonna, you know, sit down, I'm gonna check it. See, I see no time for check. Man, I want you to dance like you ready, don't care. And do the dance for the zombie set. It's me and you, mama, no more stress. I want to dance, I feel myself. Oh, you're a zombie. I'm body, I pro, you're a zombie. Batting up and get yellow zombie. Got a party people dancing, you're a zombie.
When Uncle T show face, all the children want a photo. Yeah, that do or die when they shake come around. You know, when I move blast me, they papa blast me.
All right.
Yes, what blast me, you cannot stop me.
Today's Saturday famous is Sunday Disua, so we are not going to allow this election thing to kind of take over our beautiful life. You have a lot to do here. We're not going to allow us for us to be stressed, to get your pressure go over the roof, your cholesterol or whatever it is. But we are keeping close eyes on the process. It's all because it is our country, and it is important that you keep glued to what is happening. Because why? You won, and I won. All of us, we endeavor to see something good coming from our country. And that's why for us here at Liberia Public Radio, we believe safer conversations is key in finding the many problems and solutions confronting our country. Even to right among us here in the diaspora, whatever you are, it is important that we have a conversation that will drive a genuine reconciliation, development as well. It doesn't matter which party. I don't believe in this sort of party stuff here. I think the greatest party is the Republic of Liberia. And that's what all of us must envisage to work towards. So whether you are sedition, you are liberty partisan, you are unity party, you are ANC, 28 political parties. So just imagine, they are living from one to another, living from one to another, to recycling. They are not doing anything to make the institution to be more functional, to make it work. Some people do not like challenges. Some people like easy path. And so when there's an issue in one party, they leave. Where there's a smooth ride in the other party, they go there. And it is not helping the process. So all of these challenges that we are facing today in the country is not an overnight event. They were a gradual process, and today it has become huge. It has taken considerable hold of our entire life, our way of living, social, economic, and developmental infrastructure as well. So this is why we, first of all, need to make sure to have this sort of conversation that will create a genuine and authentic way of doing things. That's very, very much important. And caution ourselves. Am I really called to do what I'm doing? Am I prepared to be a representative? Am I prepared to be a senator? Am I prepared to even be a city mayor of my town or village? And if I am prepared, what is the level of authenticity, the genuineness, the love of my country I'm taking to the table? These are questions usually that are not asked. And sometimes we base on one or two instances and we make this sort of impromptu decision to entrust people with a political or state power based on the very limited information that we know, or because of their one or two instances, we are all kind of energized to say, yes, this is the person. Yes, this is the person. But for the most part, those positions, they go in there. We don't know what's going to be the outcome of the referendum. We'll listen to NEC today. They are still pulling out information. But let's dwell on to what we have at hand right now, 9 years. Those folks, they are going for 9 years. Have you ever seen any Liberian government officials in the past or in the present? Probably. You can get it right on top of my head. That resigned because of their dishonesty, and they felt that maybe they robbed the country. They were not honest to the country. They were not honest to the job for which they were elected or appointed. How many of them? Very few. So I am concerned, and I'm quite sure most of you are also concerned, based people who are going there. Yeah, because we just don't have all of the details. But indeed, people are making decisions based on what they see and the reality that is unfolding. So you can also blame them. However, those people must caution them and hold them accountable as well. The trust and confidence reposed in them by the Liberian people, it must come first and foremost, and not just only to satisfy the ideologies of their political party. They have an obligation as lawmakers, those who are going to be going to the upper house of government, the check and balances, that's building the 103 men and women. They should be considered as elders. They should be considered as wise people, people with wisdom, common sense approach. That's how we should see them, and that's how they should be able to conduct themselves. But how many of them are thinking in that direction? Are they thinking, well, I spent maybe 10,000 or 50,000 United States dollars and I have to replenish whatever I took that money from? I have to replace it because, so that's the danger of giving hand out or applying what we call financial violence in vote in return for vote. The guy doesn't have a money machine. So whatever he gives you, there is a long-term payback which will even quadruple what he gave. And for that reason, most of the time we make these sort of poor judgments. We do not judge these people extensively as to how they're going to do it. In fact, why we should believe them than not the other folks that are there. It's not just all about to criticize, critique government, poke in the eyes of the government, but you must also set yourself apart distinctly, and you must begin to show that sound that yes, for you to be seen as an alternative. Very few of them have that sort of courage. So we have to be very careful. We have to be very fast thinking as to how we celebrate, what we hope to receive, and what is coming on our way. As far as I'm concerned, a lot of unknowns coming. There are a lot of new folks coming to join the House of Adults. Capitol building. So that Capitol building is a very unique building. And the uniqueness of that building must be maintained by those who will be charged with the responsibility that the Liberian people, their various constituencies, have elected them to go. So we have to remind them. We have to tell them. It's because we do not want the victim to become the victor and the victor becomes the victim. They are from among us. They are from within these very constituencies. So they are aware of the plight. They are aware of the cry of the Liberian people. But will they take time to pay keen attention and kind of to recollect where they're from and the reason why people are even sending them there? Will they do that? Or are they just going to amass wealth overnight and put the interests of the Liberian people and their constituencies after election? Believe me, some of them are even going to vote to their constituency again until on the eve of next election. You know, Liberian men get it saying, hurry, hurry, boss tries it. Then overnight, they want to elect Chinese people to start building things, to start fixing things overnight with the hope that they are in the interest of the people. And so when that happens, you overstress yourself, you burn yourself out because you are proven to be who you actually not. And it is hard. The society is so open in such a way now. Everybody knows exactly what's going on. You can fool people for the first time. You can deceive them for the first time. But the second time, believe me, there's some sort of wise person would be there and say, wait a minute. Didn't this guy say XYZ at the time when he wanted this job here? So what has been the dividend to this constituent? I'm wondering whether these people are going to establish offices in their constituents when it is actually a reset, when it's actually a break. They would take off time to go there, or they would just be riding, circling around Monrovia, going Freetown, Ghana, Abuja, Benin, Togo, or even coming to US here for a break. You and I know very well in this country, in our various states, your regions or your constituents, for the most part, your representative, your senators, they have their local offices in their constituents. I can go to Senator Jack Reed's office here anytime. All I have to do is to call, make an appointment, and they're going to tell me, okay, he's in Washington, XYZ time, he's going to be coming down to Rhode Island. I can call David Ciccinini's office, the congressman, and they will tell me he's in Washington, but his office is operating right here in Rhode Island. He has the office here. When you send the email, they are very spontaneous. They respond. And they will tell you, they have their schedule. It doesn't matter. You short, you ugly, you have whatever you look like. But as long as you want to talk to or your lawmaker or your Congress or your senator, they're not going to ask you, oh, Alfonso never voted for me for the last time. I saw him in CDC ticket, article T-shirt with red barrel. No, I saw him with ANC, black barrel, solidarity brigade, this and that. Their secretaries and those that are working in their offices, they do not ask those sort of questions. They don't. I can remember the last time what I called my state representative or Senator Jack Ray. The last time when David Cicilline came from Liberia, and I was privileged to talk to him, to interview him in my program, the secretary didn't ask me, are you a Democrat? Are you an independent? Or are you a Republican? No, they didn't ask that question. They only asked, who are you and what's the purpose of your call? And I was very much explicit, who I introduced myself, what I wanted to do. And he said, okay, that's fine. What's your number? I gave my return number. What's your email? Can you make it official? Yes. Send 1-2 lines. And at a timing, I'm going to call you back within 3 hours. Because the secretary were trying to make sure to look at the schedules of the congressman, even if he will be here or even if he will be in Washington to have that interview. And within the proximity of that 3 hours, even to the 3 hours did not come on the dot, I was able to receive that call, and they told me, so what was the purpose of the discussions, did a quick run through how I wanted to do it, what I was a Skype, phone, whatever. And the only thing, the congressman will be available for 20 minutes. And that was it. And I understand, because they have a lot to also do. That's how a system, that's how an organized system it is. So all these sort of Pandora, all these things that we are saying today, yes, the boss, the stop is with the executive branch of government, but all of us have an obligation to make sure that the system is effective. And I do believe the head should be the one to enforce the effectiveness of these policies. So one of the things that is sickening, that is killing our country, lack of people who do not have the visions to drive the policy of what the government, what it means to work in government, what government stands for, and all of that. They go there with their own guess game. They go there with their own set mind. Your boss telling you to do one thing, you're doing one thing. You're supposed to be to work, you're not at work on time. They give you job, it is inconclusive, you don't complete it. And when that happens, you also create problems on the person who's supposed to execute that job. So everybody that acting like a little chihuahua all over the place here now is all going to be roses. I'm telling you, it's not going to be. It is not going to be. We're going to have a tough ride. But what I can tell you, if you have a party, it's not wrong to be part of a political party. I used to be, but for some reasons, I washed my hands out. Only the liberal progressive of the Liberia Public Radio, Samson Brown Toll, is still part of a party. They flock his candidate. They beat his candidate. And he went to bed. He did not show up. Oh my goodness. I didn't even know the guy is here. I'm talking about him. Anyway, nobody tell the liberal always has his own follower. I know they're going to tell me. Well, let me just bring him. I've seen smiling back there. That's the liberal progressive of the Liberia Public Radio. Hey, my man, how you doing? How was your day, ba?
You thought I wasn't listening. One of the follow-up.
How was your day, my man?
Yeah. I heard everything you were saying. So
I think there was some music on here, but let me stop it. Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we didn't talk all day today.
Yeah, but I heard you were singing my name. You were saying good praises about me.
Oh
So
man,
somebody tagged me immediately.
no, that different block, that different liberal are talking about me. That I other family liberal and another real liberal LPI. And now you, I'll talk about you, man. Also, why you heard me talking?
Yeah, I heard it. Like I said, you were praising me, and so which I appreciate. That's okay.
Oh, hello, I want recording to do. Okay, all right. The liberals, good evening and welcome.
Thank you, Mr. So. Thank you for having me again. We
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So we'll try to do it differently here today. Most of the time we do the talking. We're going to throw this number out here quickly and fast we can because I want to really, and I want us, not me alone, I want us to hear from the ordinary Liberians, whether they voted in Liberia or not, or whether they support a particular candidate or not. I want to hear their inner part. What is their expectation for the future of the country? And folks, I respect all of your views. I want to welcome our own president here, Tyler, well, monitoring here, President Dennis. We respect people's views and their opinion. I've never remembered really turning somebody off here, unless when you sound so ridiculous and you try to push me across the wall.
Mr. So, couple of times you try to mute me.
Something to.
Yeah.
Is that how you want to start this program with me?
I'm just no. When you come out, you say you don't remember shutting people off. Several times you shut me off, cut my mic off, and what have you. So for you to come now that you don't remember, I'm just trying to jog your memory. That's all.
Okay, so what did you do before you were shut off?
Mr. So, I'm on your show. It doesn't matter what I say. You shouldn't shut me off because this is a freedom. And when you shut me off, you abuse my freedom.
There's a limitation to freedom in the process of gaining your freedom.
That's why you conservatives continue believing limitation of freedom. As far as I'm concerned, how can you put limits on freedom? Do you understand that? Limitation of freedom? What is your definition? What is the limit of my freedom?
Hold on a little bit. You profess to be a liberal, but your actions, your exhibit does not look like a guy who is a liberal.
If I'm not a liberal, I will not ask you for people to have infinite type of view. You can come and express whatever view you have as long as you allow other people to express their view as well.
Are you one of the Trumpers?
Why you always do this? I live right back north of Nancy Pelosi. Why would I want to be a Trumper? You people, the Trumper, your time is over. And your men refuse to leave the White House. We're going to have the federal government to go and extricate him and send him out. And we're not going to fool around with that. You know it.
And guess where he's going?
Was he say he want to live in Florida?
No, he's going to Sacramento. He's coming to California.
He doesn't fit in the liberal state. There's no way. He has no place.
Yeah. Every time I bring this guy on my program, I try to be nice, and by the time he spots his liberal folks, then he begins to rise and fall. He begins to rise and fall. Okay. Let's get a conversation going. Like we said, viewer descriptions is advice. Just before I come back to you, Mr. Toll, the image you see there, that was the incident that occurred early this morning done in Bond County, where some of our Liberians, some of our citizens, they lost their life. That's a mining site there in Bond County, Republic of Liberia. Early this morning, we received a call from our correspondent with those images, Betentino. These are bystander who went there to see what happens. Again, viewer description is advice. We just want to keep it there. These are some of our citizens that were victim of a mining incident that occurred today in Bond County. Our prayers and thought goes out to those folks that lost their life, and I believe some of those people, I can keep this on the screen for the longest time. But something, I was just before you came through, and that's what I was talking. Earlier this morning, we received a phone call, and these images from Bond County of some of our citizens. Who knows? These people perhaps they are participated into this process before going back to find their daily do their daily work, and here we are. The normal.
Yeah, Mr. So sad to say, I also experienced similar stuff like that live when I was very little in Bapa, Nima County, back in the days when my dad and I was out there digging diamond. Now, the point here,
You're
I
digging
think,
diamond?
excuse me?
You're digging diamond?
Yes.
I remember you said that you're a registered broker, or you defrauded the
I said
government.
digging, I don't say selling. You don't know anything about diamond business. You can't be a registered broker to dig a diamond. Somebody own the land. Let me explain it to you. Somebody owns the land, and then the person hire you and whoever to dig the diamond for them. And you, at the end of the day, you have certain portion that you will take for yourself. The rest go to the person, perhaps.
You
And
went. Your dad is you say your dad or your who? You're working for
my
somebody.
father and I.
So you went through the process to get out of everything.
Yes, in Bapa. And what happened was, I always
You get
explain
a
it.
you get a paper.
What paper? What
You
paper?
you always in the tendency. I have my document, or the one living rebel bush. Yeah, you're running away the rebel carrier.
Mr. So this was way before you were even born. So there's nothing.
Right. You're right. Yes. Look at the whole case. Go ahead.
So let me just explain this. We were in a Derma camp in Bapa, and I was little, but they have what they call honor mine, where the people would dig under the hill and goes underneath the hill, keep going and going and going, with nothing holding the hill from falling by. Now,
So
in this
I
country,
need to look at this. This is how they
exactly what happened.
how
The,
they
the earth fails. Now, as an engineer now, someone who has been dealing with earth, soil for a very long time, I know soil composition, so I understand a little bit of it. But the point that I want to make here is, so when you go underneath and dig underneath, nothing underneath the soil to support it. Now, here in the United States and other mining places, what they do, they have this scaffolding type of situation where they put wood up and have lots of plank to hold the dirt up above your head. In Liberia, that is not happening. So what I'm talking about in Bapa, one afternoon we're digging diamond, and then the on a mining section, the guy that owned a creek, he said nobody goes over there because it was danger. It has nothing to support the soil. But group of young people decided they were going to disobey and went on there, and they were working all day. I passed by that same area. I was at the urge to go on in there, but I said, no, my dad will whoop me. Anyway, the sad thing is,
always
when
you're always there.
don't worry about that one. But anyhow, the sad thing is when you're at the creek, at lunchtime, you have the young ladies that bring in Edo, rice, cassava, all the kinds of stuff to sell. So this group of ladies brought food, and these guys were underneath this earth, undermining, and they called for the food. So this young lady, 3 of them, took food to these people. Just as they got in, the earth gave way, and they were all buried. By the time people got to them to take them out, it was too late. So we, at that particular time, I think about 4 or 5 of them, including the 2 or 3 young ladies that went over there. So these kinds of situations, it's been going on for a while now.
It's a risky stuff, because we don't, like you said,
It is
not have the sort of what should I say, materials or how to call those things that are used to do these diamond digging and stuff at a machine. So how to call those machinery?
Well, you have a bike hole that you can use, or you have a trench digger that you can use, or you just simply use water hose.
This is what I'm looking at here. There are a lot of safety concerns just from visual to review what I'm seeing here. Now, this little one here, is that a main hole or what? So
Well, you see what the water is, and I'm not there, so I'm just speculating here. But you see what the water is. That's the area that that was the entrance. And if you look on your right hand side, you see what the earth fell, and as it fell, a shear. The earth shear, just like wood or steel was shear. It shear, and it went down on these people.
Wow. Man,
And it's heavy. Earth is heavy. It's not something to play with. It's a heavy, what you call it? It's heavy.
I remember the last ones in it. Was that the early 80s? I remember the Mana River. That was a landslide, right? No, that was
Right.
a landslide.
Right. Landslide comes. This is almost like that, except
because
this does not involve rain.
Right.
This is simply the earth sharing. A share. In other words, the part of it that is undermined has no more support, and so they kept the binding of the earth holding each other. Okay, the binding section just couldn't hold the rest that was not being supported, so it just sheared and fell straight down.
Wow. Well,
so most of the time, what people supposed to do when you're dealing with situation like this, you make sure you, as an inspector, and each one of these creeks have inspectors, government inspectors that goes to this, because I know that I was in the diamond camp. I know. So the inspector goes and inspect these places. Now, most of the time they will recognize the unsafe condition and they will try to tell the people not to do that. But who knows? Maybe somebody just decided to disobey. But you cannot undermine a dirt to go anything more than, if you have a dirt that you go underneath the dirt more than 2-3 feet, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah, I don't like to see Liberians' life just being taken away, because there was another interview our guy had with a lady. This lady with I think 6 children. She just came from operation, and she's Deacon Saint in Mount Gibby County. That is on our LPR Facebook page. And she said she pays like $1,000. I mean, I think Liberian 1,000. I think the guy asked her, Mount Gibby, those places, I believe, some sort of rural little part. But this is a lady who came from operation, and she's Deacon Saint just for survival. Bolu honest said very been to this area before. Bolu, I don't know, honest, so honest, if you don't mind, I will put a number here. I don't know where you are from, where you are, whether you're in the USA, just to share your own experience. We'll come to the politics side, but all of these things, they are all things that are these are other things that are also hurting the country. And now these people, the participate, I assume, I'm just making an educated guess here, I assume these people participated in the process as well. And here we are now telling them their family, family.
So let me point out something to you very quickly. And I broadcast that, I made it into my show. The president, in early stage of his administration, they went out to do a bricklaying, I believe it was for the 2027 or some kind of medical hospital. However, the president was in a hole. That the hole is, I believe it was like maybe 4 foot wide and maybe 5-6 feet, because if you look at some of the equipment they were using, 5 feet high. In this country or any other places, if you have a trench that is more than 4 feet high, you have to have some sort of a trench protection. Because and another thing you do, when you have a trench, if somebody is going in there, you have to have ladders that people can climb on, no more than 2-3 feet away from this person, so that in case of accident, they'll be able to climb out very easily. But the president, when he was laying the brick, there was no ladder around. Besides that, it was deeper, and there was no assuring, so to speak, that will be able to protect the president. So these people don't respect these kinds of rules, Mr. So. And so we will continue to find ourselves in these kinds of things from time to time.
clip the one time he went for the inspection and there was no helmet or these, how do you call it, the working site helmet, nothing like that was offered to him. I don't think that's you can endanger our president. Going, you never know. Going for inspections, any kind of crazy thing out there, people might put it there and it might not be tightened, and it could fall out there and just cause or injure the first family and stuff like that. Okay, what and Mongo and all of those that are expressing condolences, sympathy. Indeed, it is Liberian, so we don't care which side of this crazy political thing it belongs to. But the bottom line here, they are Liberians, and every life I think should be respected. It matters. We need everybody in these national reconstructions and rebuildings of Liberia. I mean, that's their own. Unfortunately, that's where their own daily bread comes from, right? To sustain, to feed their family. Okay, like I said, folks, Exeter, I want to welcome you. I hope you have the time here. We can bring you on here live videos. Just send me a message where it is. I've said this over and over. I'm hoping ladies will also be able to answer our call here. Something that we can't just be so. Man, Samson Tokan screaming with his liberal. We want to have some ladies, sisters, matters.
I hate to interrupt, but if a ladies join us, yeah, they're not gonna be in your camp. Most of the women that will be joining us will be liberal, because that's what a woman, that's what a mother is, that's what a sister is. The most of them are liberal.
You're trying to put this thing out to the people. You want to politicize it now. When they come to it, you get Cam here. You get Cam.
Well, I'm just telling. I'm just
telling Grand to be your Cam. You strong. You not go there. You not come back Cam here.
That was election. Election doesn't matter. You have to have a winner. Yeah, that's not going to deter us from pursuing happiness in our county.
Yeah, but can you publicly announce to those who don't know that your camp is being demolished?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, let me announce to you that my camp was massively defeated. Is that okay with you now?
All protocol is there.
No, we don't do all protocols.
You know,
you're kidding me. We don't do that here.
When I brought here, we had a honest conversation, and then after he called me, he said, "Oh my man, the people call me, say I was some kind of you want to bring that man, you go there, you will spoil our show. Are you kidding me?" So yeah, on a serious note, please, we want some ladies to come here, Venetians, and all of our guys. And yeah, I know you're smart ladies, guys. It doesn't matter. We want you to come here to, this is it shouldn't be us alone, because for us, we see them more or less for Liberia to gain. All right. For Liberia to gain, and we try to be authentic in our conversation here. Speak honestly. It doesn't mean everything is 100% by perfection, but I would try to do it, to put it into context. And so we are not in the entertainment industry. This is about information, discussing the real issue. So unless it doesn't matter which party you support. We just want you to maybe come here. I support this party because of X, Y reasons, and we have that kind of conversation. So again, it's out there.
Mr. So,
let us.
This is what I want to predict to you. The young ladies, the Liberian lady, they are heavily involved. But this is what I will predict to you. After this election situation settle, you will find many young ladies, young Liberian lady. It doesn't have to be young. Ladies. Liberian ladies will be joining this platform and contributing, because here's a thing here, and they know it. They are the backbone of this entire Liberian community in the diaspora. They know it, and we all know it. Okay, so it's not like they're being silent or don't have anything to offer. They do, but however, the kinds of mentality. Let me. Don't rush me. The kind of mentality the people back home have, men-dominated society, they think that the men think they can bring that kinds of behavior here with no consequence. And this is a consequence. If we were to initially allow the ladies to come and express themselves freely, and not trying to dominate the entire social media platform issues, and you will have women involved, encouraging women, but we believe the way our brothers are behave back home, thinking that they own anything because they're men, and therefore you don't do it here. So I think this election, even though it's in Liberia, but it's also educating us, the men in the diaspora, because now we're going to recognize that our sisters, our mothers, our daughters, our wives, they are the backbone of whatever society, Liberian society, we have in the diaspora. So, Mr. So, they will join you. They will join you.
Venetia, you are a strong supporter of LPR. Please don't do this to me this evening. Good evening, Mr. So. Mr. So, I love this old man, Mr. Samson too. Are you serious, Venetians? You love who? You don't know who to love?
Now, here we go. Here we go. Here comes your conservative view. You're going to try to dissuade this young lady from expressing an affection to a brother. But why will you do that? But this is how you and Amos George, these are the behavior of your conservative attitude, and that's why most people, when the young lady ready to come on your show, you will have no place, because they will not accept your conservative ideas.
I can tell you for sure, I am more appealing, better than you. You don't know that?
Okay. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. We'll find that out. That's okay.
I'm hoping. But I'm getting a little bit nervous because some of the tweet I'm seeing here now, I don't know this. You used to be a medicine man?
Mr. So, let me bust your bubble and let me try to educate you a little bit.
I just asked a simple question.
Mr. So, this is what you do. This is what you do. You try to interrupt when I'm trying to enlighten you. Truth. Don't have to wear clothes. Don't have to go to boutique to buy clothes. Truth will stand by itself. Lies, you can put all the costume you want in this world. You can put all the makeup you want on lies. It will not stand. And this is what the liberal is about. It's about truth. It got nothing to do with medicine. Jesus Christ is my medicine. Oh, my Lord. Thank you for the beautiful day. That's the medicine that I have.
If you were to release any cassette, believe me or not, I don't know. Nobody going to buy it.
Mr. So, I can sing. You know that, don't you?
Nobody. Not a dime. You're not going to get a dime. Okay, this is what we're going to do. Like I said, I want our folks online here to participate here today extensively. I try to figure out what went wrong. It is an open mic for people to give the brief synopsis, overview, analysis, and what could be the next, what went wrong, and what could be the recovery strategy. From what we see so far, the result. Okay, let me see here. I want to have somebody on here. Mr. To, can you just carry on for a minute while I communicate with this person? I just want to ask you because I have to do it. So if not, then ask you.
I love it. You're asking a favor and you're trying to put a caveat behind this favor. This is what conservative does. But folks, again, if you're listening, this is LPR, Mr. So and Samson Tour here this afternoon. Hopefully the other brothers will be joining us here very shortly. And we're here this evening to have conversation with you about what happened. Let me just start out, and I believe when Mr. So come back on, he will open the line. This is what I believe. This is what I believe on a serious note. I think Dr. Weah and his people most likely going to change because their behavior of being stuck in the campaign mode ever since the election. They can't sustain it. It's unsustainable. They can't sustain that kind of behavior where you will want to find enemy of the state every day. You can't sustain it. It turns people off. Let me just say this again. Dr. Weah is loved. And all of us, whether you're for or not, every one of us, we know Dr. Weah is loved in Liberia. There's no question asked. This is the only person in Liberia who my generation that was born with his name on their mouth, Opon, Opon, Opon for years and years. Their fathers grew up with Opon name. Their mothers grew up with Opon name. So Opon has always been the name, household name in Liberia. Now, the fact that Dr. Weah came in and won the presidency, lots and lots of people were expecting that this man would be crying for. He would be our savior. Because Liberia was in a mess. We're still in a mess. But when he came, the people that came with him, I'm making this reference, not so much of hate or anything, but think about it. I know many of you know this story. When Dr. Weah went to the stadium to do the inaugural program, nobody, those words that was spoken by Dr. Weah, nobody forced those words on him. You can say, oh, but somebody wrote it. Yes, but he read them. And those words become his. Okay? Immediately after the inaugural, position sharing among sedition, it became one person show. Natalo Make, no question asked. I was there. From there, things started going downhill. Construction projects were no longer being divvied out to many Liberians. Mr. So, are you back?
Yeah. Just go ahead while I try to put this.
Okay. Were not being divvied out to many Liberians. Liberians were now sitting back where Lebanese and other foreign nationals been giving projects, been giving jobs. The next thing we know, they came in with this Chinese bogus loan stuff that were not being consulted by many Liberians. And many Liberians turned against it. They weren't against the loan. We know we need help. But you're bringing loan. What are the conditions of the loan? They were not telling us. And so Liberian kicked against it. That was the start of all of these things. Look who are the advisors of Dr. Weah. Look among you. And I'm not trying to pit CDC against CDC, but look among sedition in the diaspora. Highly educated. I know few. I just don't like to call their name. Intelligent. These people, they themselves, they have the means. They want to help. I don't know what happened. If you look at the situation, when Dr. Weah then came to power, how many dollars were in Jefferson Kochipo's pocket? How many dollars each of these people that were in their saving, that they can truly say, I have money in my saving? Many of you see, this is what is so difficult for many Liberians to comprehend when it comes to these people. Not that they don't have the leadership ability, but how can you come in and the perception among the Liberians is that you came in tonight, tomorrow you're rich. How did it happen? Why?
So
people who used to hang with Jefferson Kochi and the rest of the people, they're still down there. But look what Jefferson Kochi, and even if he's PhD holder, what exactly Jefferson Kochi is producing in Liberia to get such a big benefit? Those are the questions many Liberia. Now, I'm not saying the store. Don't give me that. I have no evidence, and that's why I'm not mentioning that. But I'm saying the perception. So when the time came,
all right.
Now, here's another thing. If you listen to Monuba League tape, which they consider liquor talk, Monuba was saying some very interesting thing. Are you ready, Mr. So?
Yeah. Let's do this. Let me go to this number here. I really want us to have a national conversation here. 347-221-3348. Caller, good evening. So what's your name and where you calling from?
Good evening, Mr. So, and good evening, Mr. So.
Okay.
Thank you for having me on your show. I'm Fred Dennis Namwe. I'm calling from the state of New York.
Okay, from New York.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Dennis, you say?
Namwe, Fred Dennis Namwe.
Oh, Mr. Namwe. Okay, thank you. Okay. You know, there's a saying that say when it's spilled, it gone for good. But I think what is next now for us to begin to really have honest conversations about our country who's coming in, who's going to be going out, what is lesson is learned. So let's hear from you now. You've been monitoring everything here. What is your kind of view, and what do you think went wrong? You don't have to, if you want to establish your political identity, that's exclusively up to you. What do you think went wrong? How can this be fixed?
Well, first of all, to establish my political identity on the show, I won't hide it. I'm a sedition. Okay. I was, but right now I consider myself to be a born again.
Born what?
Born again. Born again.
They get a party, but I need born again.
My eyes are open. My eyes are open.
Okay. So
to the issue, we are coming to power. He ascended to power. I listened to there were a lot of good things that we have said at the stadium. And some of the things were Liberians were never again were going to be spectators in their own country. All these things there, they were not practical lives. And a lot of things went on. In the first place, when they came to power, all of them, they never had nothing. When they came to power, they started acquiring wealth. They started doing things they were not even organized. For the past time, they were in the opposition. There was no proper planning that they did.
For leadership.
Hello?
Yeah, you said they didn't do a proper planning for leadership to take power. They
didn't. Yeah, for leadership. So when they came to power, all of them, they were after riches. Now, as we can see, we have built a whole lot of horses. And these things, then, the entire professional football career, those things, he didn't do it. He didn't do it. There are a lot of things that he did that he cannot recover from it. They are remedy to the problem. The sacrifice. He cannot make the sacrifice because he had, somehow intertwined himself. Number one, he cannot move Samuel 12 from that position.
Why?
So if he moves Samuel 12 from that position, there are a lot of things that Samuel 12 know about we are. It will be exposed. It's like in a bathroom and somebody can, or zinc shack bathroom, and somebody can move all the zinc from around your nakedness will be exposed to the public. We cannot move Samuel 12 from that post.
Caller, please. Hello, somebody is on the phone. I'm hearing the background. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, as I was saying, we cannot move Samuel 12 from that post.
Okay, so
that kind of CDC. Moluba Molu, the statement that Moluba Molu made that he referred to as Lekotor, it wasn't a Lekotor. If CDC was a sound political party, but now Moluba Molu should be chairman, but he cannot move Moluba Molu because if he moved Moluba Molu as party chairman, Moluba Molu will open more. Wow, there are a lot of things that we'll get to know.
So how can he do that? It's only the National Convention can remove him, or maybe executive leadership, something. I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
They can organize National Convention. Moving, it will be a detrimental to the party. It will be a detrimental to we are himself.
Okay. They're sure here.
There are certain people in government, they are untouchable. We are not touched them. When you do it, you'll be more exposed.
Okay, hold on one second.
The damage is already being done.
Okay, hold on one second there. This show, more or less, for the Liberian people tonight, we'll try to do less talking. I will be switching to go to my friend if he has a question. Let me ask you, what did you see first for which you joined CDC? And if you were leaving, I'm quite sure something wasn't going right. You as a member, did you speak out? Did you talk to anybody and they listen to you or not before taking that decision?
Well, I'm from Grand Cru. We are from Grand Cru. We all came from Saspa. I know we are personally. I know your older brother personally. Communication with your brother, William or Captain, we are junior. His older brother. I've been in touch with him. And here myself, we talk.
So hold on.
Relatively.
Let me ask a silly question here. Is it was it a grand coup?
I'm about to answer your question.
Okay.
I'm about to answer your question. You're calling me up.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. We talk relatively. The brother told me that he doesn't listen. His own blood brother from mine and far. He said we doesn't listen to nobody. The only people that we are listening to is Imare Shaw and Archibald Bonnet. People are saying, oh, Magay. We doesn't listen to those people. When we are working from his dad, or Imare Shaw and Archibald are somebody that is related, blood. If I say relationship, blood, telling me such a thing. The reason why, I was member of the CDC, I said we are coming from the grassroots. You know the suffering of the Liberian people. You know what it means to sleep, to go to bed with empty stomach. So he coming to power, I said, he could make a difference. But when he came to power, he started, deviating duties, acquiring wealth. I said, but wait a minute. The guy is going the wrong way. And to our insult to injury, to bring that Nigerian guy as election commissioner, and he went to the national legislature after they examined all his credentials, and it was exposed that he had fraudulent documentation. The man is still in government. So I said, well, this people, they are not serious. I want the thing that made me to leave the party. That was the thing. That made me to go against CDC.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me go to next.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. I just wanted to get your take here. All right. 571 number 5924. Are you there, caller? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Here, I'm here. Are you getting me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. My name is Emmanuel Suma, and I call you from Virginia this evening. Yeah, so what went wrong with the CDC in the elections? One thing a lot of us we don't understand is that I understand a lot of people's frustration, especially we the CDC. I am a CDC. We control Mosurado for 12 years during the Unity Party administration. Now, politically speaking, Mosurado is not usually controlled by ruling party. It's always controlled by opposition. Sir Joseph became the first lawmaker to win senatorial seat, but that was just right after President Weah presidency. Because most of the people think once the new party get into power, they expect things to change overnight. And once things does not change overnight, people start to get discouraged. Now, I listened to the caller who just online, and one of the callers that said, Jefferson coaching, people are coming to wealth pretty soon. Look, Liberians, we have to open our mind and think. If we cannot think, we bring trouble, we bring Joe, we bring Chastity, we bring Erin, we bring Joshua, we will still bring another person. Even if Jesus Christ will sit as president, we will still bring him. If you working in Liberia, if you're working in Liberia and you're making $7,500 United States dollars a month, you can go to any bank and take $100,000 loan. You can even use $70,000 and build a classic 4-bedroom house. You can use a salary and you can pay within 1 year, 8 months time. You do not have to work for 6 years to build a house. So let me just give you a classic example. Jefferson County working as a major. He made approximately $7,500 a month. Jefferson County can go to a bank, tell the bank, look, I work as a major, I make $7,500, I want a $100,000 loan, I want to build my house, and the bank will tell you, okay, tell the bank that he got a guaranteed job. The bank say at the end of
so
every month, you have to pay.
hold on 1 second.
Right.
We're trying to find a solution here. Are you still a seditian, by the way? Let me ask you.
I always.
So I want to know what went wrong. You say you alluded that you had a county for X number of years. What went wrong so quickly? I want us to discover what you feel. It doesn't mean it's right to me.
It's very simple. What went wrong is that Liberian, we do not read between the lines. The first thing, people accusing President Weah of accumulating wealth so quick.
Somebody please lower your monitor. Somebody is on the line. Please lower your monitor because we're getting a feedback. Go ahead quickly. 30 seconds. That's why we get it in.
The government allowed the opposition to play a lot of rhetoric and consumed by the Liberian people while the government delayed to respond. The first thing is that there is nowhere on any research you can find that George Weah went broke.
Okay.
So there is no law that say if you're a president you cannot build. If you're a president you cannot build within your first 2 months, and there is no documentary evidence that have been proven that have been shown by the opposition that President Weah took down to build any of his property.
Okay, so quickly before I go to the next person, I know you're kind of long. So as far as you are concerned, you just this is just a natural political change that people decide to change, right?
No, it's not a natural political change. Honestly, it's not.
So what is it?
What happens is that our people don't read between the lines. We will continue to make this kind of mistake. This will not be the
Hold on 1 second. Somebody is listening. Please, I think that just only 3 person here. If you can be in 2 places at the same time. Please turn your monitor down. Because when you're talking, it comes back to me. It even kind of like it disconnect the person that is talking. Go ahead, 30 seconds quickly. Let me go to the next person.
30 seconds. The only reason why people are voting against President Weah is very simple. Number one, people are angry because President Weah built a military hospital. Liberians would prefer that we take safe patient government officials to Ghana instead of investing in our economy. Liberian voted against CDC because President Weah announced tuition free. We don't like it. Liberian voted against CDC because President Weah paid wise fee for high school students and junior high school students. Liberians don't like it.
Okay. All right. I can get everybody off for you. I don't know why. Oh my goodness. I cut these people off. Folks, I'm sorry. I tried to post somebody on and everybody went cutting off. Let me just see here what I can folks that were there to see what I can call them back. Let me call this number here. Something.
Yes.
People are mad because Dr. Weah tuition free and stuff and things like that. Okay, I welcome to you. Let's welcome our long-time contributor. I have to move this number here so that we'll see the man face, Mr. Can you put your camera up a little bit? Okay, good. Okay, let me just go back to these guys here, and all of us we try to find a common ground here this evening. Okay, call out 520 number 07. Are you there?
Yes, Mr. So.
Yeah, go ahead. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Arizona. My name is Roland.
Okay, go ahead quick. Roland.
Yeah, Mr. So, I was listening to the previous caller before me. You know what is happening today in Liberia, Mr. So. I think the CDC, they need to go back and everything what they want to do for the next 3 years. Mr. So, I was in Liberia for 9 months.
Yes, I saw you did a lot of stuff there.
January to October. I have 50 young people unemployed over there in the rural area. Mr. So, CDC is not in the rural area. I patrol from Lofa to Bon, Railway G.
I'm a little bit curious here. Are you a seditious or where do you hope to establish?
No. Mr.
Okay.
So,
okay. No, all right, then go ahead. I just want, because the reason I'm asking too, I want people who are part of those parties, they should be able to speak out and make recommendations. They don't just, yeah, but go ahead.
During the election, I was supporting the UPP candidate and UPP, United People Party. And later on, the second round, we can't support the CDC because we wanted to see George Weah taking over, the reign of the country. But, Mr. So, let me tell you, the people around Mr. Weah, a cabinet minister making Mr. Weir to look ugly. These people came to power and they don't associate with nobody. They don't communicate with nobody. They think they have power now. They think the power is for them. The country is for them. They don't collaborate. And they think that you don't share the same ideology with them. I don't think that party even have an ideology. I'm sorry. If you don't share the same view with them, they don't associate themselves with you. If you an entrepreneur, because you don't go under the sycamore tree and Amanda, they don't look at you. And that's very wrong. That's very wrong. If you look at the CDC pattern, Mr. Weir came to power 2017 up to now, there's no country tour. I was expecting Mr. Weir to do it in his first 100 days. Now they say, oh, it's the coronavirus. Coronavirus just came this year. We see President Trump traveling all over. We see Boris Johnson, Macron going all over the place. You know, what happened to the CDC party today? I mean,
so
they should take the blame.
Okay, so Roland, quickly here, what's the recovery strategy here for the CDC? Let's pretend you want to make your government to succeed. What's the any recovery strategy?
What? Yes, Mr. Weir can still score a point, otherwise Dara Dillon will have a hard trick on him. And bring professional people in, people who, like, for example, I know people in Liberia hate a lot of American or trainees, like some of you guys. Some of you guys came to the country, it's not because you wanted to come here. We came here because they chased us from Liberia, there was civil war, and you won't come here and fold your legs and say, I'm not going. You need to come here.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Here and bring some professionals to Liberia and replace people like Nathaniel McGilden. They need to go. You know, replace people that stand up toward them. Bring people who have the knowledge of the economy, people who will reach out to our people in the rural area, but not just people in the urban area, in Monrovia.
Hold on. Hey, hello. Yeah, we have some laws here. We don't honor talk people.
I'm not saying Samuel Tua doesn't have.
No, go ahead, Roland, carry your point. Then from there, they will have their day. We don't do that. Then you kind of distract people.
We need people who want to reach out to the Liberian people. George, we have Minister Cabinet who will reach out to the Liberian people, spend day and night with the people in the rural area.
Okay.
You know, tell them that this is what we're going to do for you.
All right, my man. Thank you. Let me go to the next person here so that people will have their say here. Thank you so much, Roland. Thank you so much. Okay, maybe we can keep it 1 minute. You should be able to kind of condense everything. 610 number 7133. Are you there? What's your name and where you calling from?
Okay, thank you. So my name is Arthur Wongbe.
Mr. Wongbe, welcome to the show. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the program. I really want to commend you for the program, and I wish it all got it from the graduate radio station where Mr. Gilman is heading could listen tonight. I would really appreciate that. 1 minute is okay for me.
Let's see. Maybe depending on what we're gonna do, tonight is the listeners. My folks who are gonna come in. We want to know what really inside people. And please don't. Okay, go ahead.
I'll speak about it right now. Number one reason, if we change and bring all the people from America, from everywhere, Europe.
Yeah, go ahead. What happened? Hello? Guys, are you there? Hello, are you there? Why everybody went mute? Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay, Mr. Unit, I welcome. Thank you. Quite a long while. I know everybody busy. Let me go back to this person here. Hello, caller. Are you there? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good evening, my brother. How are you?
Good. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm calling from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank you for the show. I listened to your question. You asked me our parents that what went wrong. And I just feel that most Nigerians don't get to understand that we are in the 21st century and the new generation.
You cut me off.
The phone
People will
went
not
off.
continue.
Just hold on. Other people talking. Everybody went off. Just after him, you come
Hello?
on. Go ahead, caller.
So people will not continue to allow one person to lie to them, fool them. So I'm not a partisan of any party in Liberia. The only thing I want is the good of the country. All right. Sometimes when you ask some of our brother, they will tell you, "Oh, even with a different person, it will be the same thing." No, we need a change. When this president came, everybody loved him. We thought that it's a grassroots person who's going to change things and make things better for our people, for our livelihood. All right. But hey, the people should blame themselves. They should blame themselves. The first and foremost thing that went wrong in that country, they started to make Liberia issue to look like it was their personal issue. You came to lead people. You didn't want to listen to their plight. All you wanted, everything was just you and you and you. And so, I mean, the people sang without rhythm for long. And now the people backtrack and the people say, no, we cannot continue like this. You see people, family in Liberia cannot even afford to send their kids to school. You still sit down there and you think that's normal. You think that's okay. That's not okay.
Okay.
You fly your family to go to hospital in Ghana and other places. People in Liberia don't have good medication. No good hospital facility. And you think that is okay. And Bob Marley said it. You can fool some people sometimes, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. You understand?
All right.
And so they need to go back to the drawing board. If you keep to lead, you must lead. You don't think, say, going out there dancing zombie all the time as a leader when you're supposed to be sitting down with technical, trying to design how to make things work better for the people livelihood to be better. And when things happening, people killing people in the country, people dying, insecurity, and you're not saying anything about that. The people went in that Monrovia, they want to kill the Arabic student in the Arabic school, they burn them to death. You can never hear about one investigation instituted by government. Is that a serious government? People die and go insane. Nobody asks questions. And when I see some of our friends and brothers coming out to say, "Oh, I'm a citizen in Nigeria," being a citizen is not a bad thing. But being a culture-minded Liberian, the direction the country is going, what benefit our generation, our children will get, what future they're going to get tomorrow.
All right.
That's what matters most.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, hold on. Let me go to my guest to just bring him on, to bring him quickly, then I will come back to you guys. Mr.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks.
Yeah, I just want to set the stage. He's one of our a long-time human rights advocate. I also a contributor here, but it's a crazy land. Everybody been busy here. Let's just to bring you up to speed. We just want to know the inner part of people today. There was a quick change in this political landscape in Liberia, and I'm curious as to how it happened, because the young generation that I see today that have pivoted so quick, those are the people a few years ago, and they celebrated, they chanted, they were all into it. So what happens within less than 3 years in the first term of this government? So I'm wondering to know what is really happening, what sort of message they are sending. We just want to hear from them, and then we will come back to the point.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Yes, it's been a while. Been really busy doing a lot of stuff, so I'm sorry, but I'm happy to have the opportunity to be back with you. I think what's happening in Liberia, I would attribute it to multiple of things. I think, first of all, I've been hearing people saying CDC needs to go back to the drawing board. What I would say is CDC.
What I wanted to do, right? Let's hear these callers. Let's hear the ordinary brain, and then there will come a time. Then we just close it up and begin to wrap it up. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Callers, are you there? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. 610 number 7133. What's your name and where you calling from? At least 1 minute.
Yes. Yeah, I don't want to once again.
Okay, Mr. Wombe, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. What I said, the PRO system in Mr. We are government is very, very poor.
PRO.
And he can, yeah, PRO, yeah, he contributed immensely. That is, for example, how do you defend such person for when you say that I will get the citizen food and the money will approved $30 million and the WFP come and give you food. That is what that information going why in here. What is food today? Where is the food? It kills people's spirit. It's very significant to they're hungry. Then you begin to divide money here and there. Okay, Zoko and what not bad money Zoko, but create job for them. Every money being tied to that. It be father begin to send money, give money here and there all over, say campaigning. That's wrong. People hungry. It doesn't will reach to people. The $30 million, people died. 8%, 6%, 6%, 4% die within 1 week time. What was the information? Then when president talk about, he should be allowed to speak. Another PR right there again, all our government businessmen, and that the same information Justice Ministry gives. You should be the last one to speak.
Okay.
He always damages your own reputation.
Okay.
It wasn't cause a problem. Another issue, when the PRO is damaged, how do you repair that? There are so many that we mentioned to you today, but no time to talk
yeah,
about
let's listen. It's a long time on conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you
But
so
I will
much.
tell you that the PRO is damaged with so many wrong things. So many wrong things.
Okay.
The reason why people are tired. And Monrovia is a city where everybody listens. The interior, in Monrovia, everybody listens. Everybody they listen to the radio station. They listen to why going today. No, so we message today. Go against you.
Thank you so much.
Somebody who take a college and go to farm, he doesn't listen to radio to know what's happening. But today we pronounce it, everybody hear it. So that's the reason why people want against him.
Okay, thank you so much. That's your view and opinion. 571 number 5924. What's your name, caller, and where you calling from?
Yeah, I mean, I was on the line, but the line just
went off. Everything everybody went off. I mean, it was I mean, that technology is sometimes. So, go ahead.
Like I said, if you do, if people conduct an opinion poll in Liberia, a lot of people are complaining about hardship, about hunger. So what this president needs to do is to really slow down this development activities in Liberia and try to lower the price of rice. Understand, it was because of rice.
Mm-hmm.
It was because of the same rice in hardship we killed do. You don't play with the Liberian rice business. Now, no, you don't. Liberian, we can have all the sandwiches. If we don't eat rice, we say, oh, they will be eating anything. This president, if there is any Liberian president or any Liberian government that is down to the people, it's the CDC-led government. This government is always down to the people. What happening is that the prices of commodity is high, and especially our staple food. This president is doing exactly what the Liberian people are asking for. When they are short of rice, they're not going to listen. The issue of most rural country, is that being like that always, no matter what the government do, opposition will always have the edge in most rural because people expect for things to change overnight. Things does not change overnight. Actually, opposition will capitalize on it. But this government is doing well. We just need to look at the prices of commodities, let people go to bed with at least 2 or 3 meals on the table. And that's a major complaint in Liberia. Every time I on Facebook, you know how people get suffering here? You know how people go to bed hungry here? So it tells you that the people want their rice.
Okay.
If you can slow, you don't have to build the way from Nigeria to Nima County for now to 2021. Slow it down. Drinking more rice. More rice.
Let me ask you, are you a Seditian or which party you affiliate with?
Yeah? Sedition by birth. Sedition by birth.
Sedition by birth and sedition. We're all with me. All right. I love that. I just want to. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. That's quite fascinating. If you don't talk to people, you will never know. And it's good getting these things from people. 267-5566. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Mrs. So this is Lofa.
Lofa, welcome.
Yeah, Julius. Thank you. I'm listening to Carlos Import tonight, and honestly, it's fascinating. And let me just say also, thanks to everybody else following tonight, including your panelists. I took a couple things I just want to throw out there real fast. That what I of our problem in Liberia is not only those we have in leadership, it's also the level of sycophancy that is noticed amongst their supporters. You would not believe it. Mr. So you already know for the last or the past election who I supported. Even though I run my show and going forward, but you will be surprised that the near fight that I came up today and posted. I just did a little memo and said, message to Darius DeLon and his inner circle. You should have seen how many people were coming at me just for the mere fight that I even wrote that. And when I came on the show, I said to them, the mistake we made or seditions made is that they refused to protect what they brought to power. They refused to be sincere to President George Weah, regardless of what would have happened. Had they done their due diligence to point out some of the ills in the government, I don't think it would have been this bad. And because I invested my time in making sure that Senator Darius DeLon is elected, I don't have time to sit and wait for him to be in office for 3 months before I start to erect the needed checkpoints. So right after I have realized that Senator DeLon have been re-elected, I'm going to start to do that. So today I had an entire hour and a half where I was telling Senator DeLon, you have been re-elected. Guess what? It's time for us to get off the Facebook podcast and it's time for us to service the people. It's time for us to get away from the sycophants who only want you to want to be heard because they want the recognition or the publicity and do the people's job. I want you to also remember that you're not a superhero. You were not elected because you are a superhero. You were elected because the people believe in you or they wanted to send a message to the current government. And that is what I hope that you would use as your foundation or your broomstick in order for you to persevere. In order for you to be successful, you have to listen and learn, or else I can see that you will also follow the step as that of President George Weah, because I see all of your followers, almost all of them, they are now attacking people who are telling you the truth, because we're Liberians. We do not like to hear the truth. We want to remain sycophants. We want to always hear what we want to hear, but we don't want to hear something otherwise. And I refuse to be a part of that group if I believe in the idea that our generation must change Liberia, and we will do that. So in order for us to do that, we have to tell our leaders where to go wrong, and we have to embrace or celebrate them when they have achieved things. Thank you, Mr. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. All right. 484 Namatai 1730. So let's keep it to the point. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
I'm Chipilot Fala calling from Philadelphia.
All right. What is the recovery strategy now and what went wrong?
Well, I think, Mr. So, what I want to say is that the 12 years that CDC sat down waiting, they were never prepared. The 12 years they tormented, hinted, put fire under the feet of Ellen Johnson's Salif government. They were never preparing. I believe if CDC had a vision, they have deviated from that vision. They lost the focus and the abuse of power. When you have people who are not mature of the power that they inherit, people who are not well prepared of the power they have, you will understand that that power will make them drunk and begin to abuse that power. I feel that Liberian people, power that was given to the CDC-led government, have been abused by President Weah. I've been abused by his ministers. I've been abused by even his party supporters, wherein you see when people begin to talk, they target most especially the diaspora Liberians. they have degraded the diaspora Liberians so much to the extent that they fail to realize that the backbone and success of Liberia rests upon the shoulders of the diaspora Liberians. Liberia does not manufacture nothing. All the resources of Liberia is being taken out of the country. Liberia depend on export, and Liberia depend on import instead of exporting. So at the end of the day, our resources that we send back home is what helps build up the economy. So if you will sit in Liberia as a government who have attained power, and you abuse the diaspora Liberians who are the backbone of your government and degrade them and make them to be nothing, this is what will lead to the downfall of the CDC-led government, because the success of the CDC government to get power in Liberia came from the diaspora. If the diaspora were not going to back them up, they were never going to be successful. So
30 seconds now to you. Already pointed out all of their pitfalls. I want to know what should be their recovery side.
Their recovery side, number one. Number one, they got 4 different political parties that group up together and form the CDC-led government that put them into power. The president, the vice president are not united. The first thing they need to do is to reconcile the leadership of cabinet ministers, the leadership of the party officials should reconcile with the poor masses who they gather every day to shout muya muya muya, and they are not building up the capacity of those people. They need to reconcile within themselves first. Then they reconcile with the diaspora Liberians. Then at the same time, the aspect of giving the social needs of the Liberian people, giving them that security, people to feel secure, police brutality. So there should be a reshuffle of the key position in the government. I will recommend, if CDC will succeed, the finance minister need to go. If CDC will succeed, Natana Magay need to go. If CDC will succeed, the city mayor need to go. If CDC will succeed, their very party chairman need to go. That is my recommendation for their success.
Man, there are other people there. It will not be easy to go through it. Thank you so much. These are views and opinions being expressed. 717 number 2909. Go ahead quickly. 1 minute, please.
Yeah, so I don't know why you give me 1 minute, but anyway, I will take it.
No, go ahead. Let's see now. You know, we've been talking about it, even though people been breaking the law, but go ahead.
Yeah, you're saying you just break the law. What happened in Liberia here is that CDC, that whole government, that whole job we have government, number one, somebody said it, they were not prepared. They don't know what they call leadership. That one, they'll take it from them. Leadership, they're lacking that one. Number two, they can lie. That whole government based on lie. So when I put it so. Even the people then that open radio station in the diaspora, all of them can lie the same way too. What happening in Liberia? They're not telling the people in America, or they're not telling the world. Something is happening. Everybody get family water. Everybody get food. We know what's happening there. Then you come on the radio, on platform, they lying. Then some people calling. You don't know Liberia, they want Liberia. Lie. The whole government of Brian lie. And job we have number 3. He violated the Constitution separate time. He didn't care about the people. What is violating the Constitution? Number one, he said he took a friend getting plea. Yes. And according to the Constitution, that violation. And CDC went with it. They were fine with it, but somebody do it, they will demonstrate. How your friend gonna give you a plane to be riding all around the place? They didn't care about the people. Number 4, he went to build horse. He called it a military horse. They're not like horse there. They still taking a cabinet minister they're carrying there in foreign country for medication. Why? When somebody say you get opposite 200,000, you're not investing the 200,000 into the military horse they build. They taking it carrying them to Ghana. They want to bring their body. When they carry it, they bring their body with charter plane. They carry the they bring their body with charter plane. All our medications should be, all our money should be invested in the military hospital. They didn't do it. Then they take the last money they took from the people, similar package. They took that one. You can't get it, but you say even moreover, you call the people say moreover, say even branch it. It's a toll from total. I think some of them even here, but I think they get here about it. They get nothing about it. So all these things are lie. They just lie. The whole government is based on lie. Everything they say is lie. They say Barrow Medicine. From Batam to Import Bridge, go see the road. That Barrow Medicine, that road should be fixed. That one regular from Batam. When really, It's coming over. No car will pass there because it's far right there. Far road, let's see. You can't see that one. So most of the things are lie. So they ground that road and I call, road and I call. They're just talking about a whole day breaking ground. I don't know how many times will be breaking ground. The erosion still coming from water coming from on ground now. Because the ground, water coming from on ground. You're not solving the problem. So you're laughing the people. They say the money is go to the break ground, go to the break ground. Some market, small market in Ghana. Now the whole that the president will go there to go open market. You don't get somebody to go do it for him. They get people that are just lying. This is bad, Mr. Toad. This is bad. So we should look at the government and liberate people now. Let me tell you, any representative or senator, before you become senator and liberate now, will be looking at you. All the people they think it's hard to liberate people put against them. Put against the other group of people because they're being lying. Most of them can lie and will now accept liar in our house again no more.
Okay. Thank you so much. Wow. Ooh. It's good to listen to the people. You get to know what is happening in the darkness. Okay, 610 number 2230. Call us. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello?
Yeah, 610-2230. Is that you?
Well, I'm on.
Yeah,
This is Emmanuel.
Yeah, 610-2230.
No, I'm 651-233-9524.
Okay, this one, I don't know the person for asleep. I will be coming to you. There's a number here, 917 number here, 4147. Are you there? 917.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, go ahead. Please lower your monitor. What's your name and where you calling from?
Yeah, hi, Mr. So this is Boy McConnell.
Mr. Connor, welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
What's the recovery strategy and what went wrong?
What went wrong, in my opinion, is that the government
Are you there? Hello? 917 number, are you there? I don't know why. 917, are you there? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
I was not sleeping. I was not sleeping like the guy thing just got in. You were calling my number and then the other guy was talking.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. So I'm Reverend Sandra Johnson from Pennsylvania.
Oh, Reverend Johnson, welcome.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for this program. And you're asking the question, what went wrong on this?
Yeah, what went wrong and what could be the recovery strategy now? Any idea?
Yes, what went wrong is like I'm hearing from a few people that calling, number one, I will quote one Bible verse that says James 3:16. It's the word there is selfishness, the way you find divisions, the way you find darkness, the way you find all the corruption.
Can you speak loud a little bit, Ravi?
Are you hearing me now?
Much better, yeah.
Okay, I just quoted James 3:16 that says, where there is selfishness, the way you find all the evil activities.
Mm-hmm.
So what went wrong is because they were in darkness. When one of his ministers, Eugene Fagon, said, Liberia make minimum $15 million a day. Okay, minimum. When Henry Costa were trying to have a protest and they want the government to kind of give them a guard, or, security guard, and then the minister went in the air. I still have his recording. How can they give them, a guard when they lose one day of that Monday, even though they never participated in the protest, but they lost $15 million minimum that day alone. And people think Liberia is not making money. I play with numbers, so I did my calculations. Okay, Liberia is completely in darkness. It says, since 2016, I started a program on the Liberty Radio in Liberia, coming from darkness to light. Liberian beginning to see the light through the little Senate that I just went among them. The problem with Liberia, not only President Weir, all these senators that have been there all these years, have invested all the Liberians for money, allowing all the other presidents to do whatever they want to do. This is what went wrong. Okay, based on the past, all the senators, the representatives, go include the ministers, all the people that are working have been just putting their thing in the BJI. Now, just little lights have just so thankful. And that's why sometimes I try to get in contact, and I'm heading to Liberia by the grace of God this week, and I'll meet this guy because I want to see light in Liberia. Okay? And what they can do, what CDC can do, because the problem, like I hear some people saying, is right. How can you trust anybody you don't know? These ministers that come in your face, you don't even know what they're thinking. And that's the first thing I say sometime on the radio. I say, you stand and say, you know a guy, you cannot read his mind. You don't know what go through his heart. And you say, you know him. You're going to give a man a job. You don't even know what they're thinking. You're going to give them a job. So every one of them, they are in darkness. What they need to do now is to repent. As the Bible says in the book of Malachi 3:3, it says, give me that dark heart. Give me that knocker heart. I will refine and I will purify it. Then you can see and do something right you want to do. Because leadership is having the ability to influence people to do good. And he said in Ephesians 2:10, for you are God's own handiwork created in Christ to do good. The goodness is there, but the sin has overtaken the good that in all of them. Even when Ellen was there, I used to go on the radio. I said, Liberia is in darkness. Time and again, I say this. Okay? When I was running, I'm not party pickup and stuff, but I used to hang some behind sometime on the other side, UP. And I used to tell the how you call it, Joseph Baker. I said, you know what, you got a lot of young rotting apples behind you because you can tell me you know somebody, but you cannot read their mind. You can see them.
All right.
Technically, Liberians, we need to repent. The problem is we say we know something we do not know, that's a sin. If you say you are something you are not, you are a sinner. So we really, really, really need to be mindful. Even though you can take we out today, you put another man there, we have to really, really repent. This nation was founded on Christian foundation, and we're still dancing for 170 some more years in darkness. So we need to repent.
Thank you so much, Rory.
Very much, my brother, for this program.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, right on top of the hour, I will go strictly with my guys. I believe we have collected a lot of samplings, views and opinions. 651 number 952. Good evening, caller. What's your name and where you calling from?
Good evening. I am Emmanuel Biantano. Thank you very much for taking my call.
Mr. Tano, welcome to the show. What went wrong and what is the recovery strategy now?
Thank you. What went wrong has been wrong since 1847.
Yeah, you. I love that.
Why am I saying this, sir? From my research, every government that we've been having in Liberia, the people are dissatisfied. And that stems from a total deviation from a single clause in our constitution. And until we can transition our governing system back to its foundation, nothing is going to happen in Liberia to bring any change. Darius DeLong cannot do it. No government can do it. And that stems from Article 1 of the Constitution, a single clause.
Are you there? Oh my goodness. Thank you. 610 612. Are you there? 612. Are you there? Okay, I think I gotta maybe try to not to get in here. Let me see here. I believe. Okay. All right. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the line went off. I think I just got to do maybe 1 or 2%. Now go ahead.
Now, this is what is happening. We, the people, can only be satisfied and Liberia can go forward if we tell our government, according to Article 1, what we want our government to focus on. Government cannot solve all the issues in Liberia in 6 years. It's impossible. We have to tell the government X, Y, and Z that the government can focus attention on for the 6 years that they are going to be in power. Then people will be satisfied. Because if we say we want road connectivity, we want good healthcare, we want education, those 3 or 4, for the government to prioritize during their tenure, that is something that all Liberians will know that this is what we said, this is our national manifesto, and this is what the government is doing. People are going to be satisfied. They will be happy even if they are hungry because we all have a common goal. But for now, we are voting based on promises and not on issues. As a result, when our leaders come in, they promise we have nothing to hold them by. So today, Darius DeLong is there. But trust me, 3 months from now, people are going to be dissatisfied and they'll be insulting him because Darius DeLong cannot satisfy everybody. So we have to go back to Article 1. That's what I see wrong, and that's how we need to fix it. And that's what we are doing in Liberia right now.
Okay.
I was in Liberia for 2 months. I just came back on the 17th last month.
All right.
I can tell you in 2 weeks, we were able, by the grace of God, to unite 14 districts in the midst of division in 2 weeks, 5 counties. And that's what we are doing. When we transition to Article 1, we will be able to tell our leaders what we want them to do. And this is what we are saying. We are also advocating for laws.
But don't you, somebody would say that you're flipping the coins here. You want to lead, you should come with your visions. You would lead the country in a specific directions. So are you saying that we will suggest to them what we want? Why not they made a case what they want to lead?
Very good question. I appreciate that. Man, that's very good. But I have never seen anywhere where you go to look for job as an employee and carry your own job description. Article 1 says we have to make a wish. We have to tell them what we want. Their manifesto is a resume. That's going to tell us the experience they have, the education they have, how they are going to implement the job that we're going to give them. With all that, those experiences, we have to give them a job description. We want you to focus on road connectivity. We want you to focus on good healthcare. That is, we are the employer, not employees. We should be giving job description. That's what Article 1 says. And that's what we have not been doing since 1847 till now.
Thank you so much.
Our country is not going forward.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me up.
Okay, what an interesting evening here to get the inner part of people here. I think it's important that we do this so that we would know, and hopefully those that are stake leaders, they will do everything. Hello, caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I know you were calling, but for everything I put on, I got disconnected. I was just waiting for it. What's your name and where you calling from?
Boy McConnell, I got disconnected earlier.
Yeah, Mr. Conan, sorry. Go ahead. It wasn't on purpose.
Yes, I said what went wrong is I think the government, when they first took over, the CDC-led government, did not try to reach out or connect or reconnect to the Liberian people, and they took advantage of the fact that they were the popular political grassroots party. So most of what the Liberian people were saying, like in terms of from the June 7th all the way to all of the protests and dissatisfaction of government employees not getting their salary on time and stuff like that, they took them for granted, and they never wanted to take these things seriously, and they felt that they could just continue to run the government like that without any consequences. And I believe personally that some of the people around the president, the advisors of the president, they are not in his interest, and they do not connect with the common person, so they do not know pinch that the common people are feeling. And that disconnected also the president from the rest of the Liberian people. And I posted on my page that it is time now that the seditions to take off their berets and stop the militancy and start to work for the Liberian people. And some of my friends took it very hard, but that's the fact. I personally believe that most of the sedition, even government officials, they are just continuing to introduce this militancy to the, which of course I think a country that is coming from 14 years of civil war, we should not put militancy ahead of developing the minds of the young people. I think those are some of the things that are affecting our society, because everyone wants to be a militant now in Liberia. And also our culture, we are lost in our culture. Everybody's saying Amanda Awetu. We are not South African. We are not from South Africa. Where is the yo-yo? Where is the bati-o-bati? Where is the man-o-man? These are the calls that we used to have. And I remember as a child, that's how our fathers and our grandfathers used to be able to mobilize the people. So I hope that the CDC will get this message, and to all the other political parties too, because I see other political parties are also creating militants within their political entities. And these are not things that is good for our country. And
thank you so much.
We should try to desist from those kind of things, and let's focus on the human development to be able to de-traumatize our people. Because after the war, the President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government did not pay attention to the young people.
Okay.
They need to be de-traumatized. Thank
All
you
right.
very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. All right. We're gonna be going to our guest now. I'm just gonna take one more call, and then this person, I'm gonna take one more call, and then from there we'll just go strictly to the panelists. At least they are gathered a lot of information for us to do.
Hello?
Yeah, Ty 503 number 333. You are the last person for the evening for now. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello? This is William Dunn. I'm calling for Oregon.
Oregon. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'll thank you for the show, but I've been listening to the show. The questions is coming good. My saying is CDC, like me, I wanted to support the CDC from 2005 and 2017 when making president, but most of our campaign was 2005 to 2011 was on war crime, economic crime, those things. Made a lot of Liberians to follow the CDC. But after CDC came to power, George Weah changed direction, started building a house, the minister started running after their own things.
What I mean, don't roll us scare here. We're not having to, how to call this on the track and field eras. Are you still a sedition, or I'm just curious?
No. Finally, I want the person now. They say send me to like brother, go get George Weah, and I'll go now. I'm in the US, but I don't want to see him because we know we protest, we took casting in Monrovia, So some of us are expecting George Weah become president or establish a war crime code, all Liberians to be certified before he can do anything. But he started saying they want development or they want war crime code. So a lot of Liberians were disappointed in George Weah. It's not just because of food and people saying, oh, rice. Liberian people been feeding themselves. So we don't pull the problem. But a lot of Liberians that say her because of the war crime code, and those people that kill people, they stay in public office in Liberia. Yes.
So you were one of those were involved in the cascade.
I told cascade even the Omeo building with model by model and Koji, those guys know me.
What was the reason? What was the reason behind that cascade? I'm afraid somebody who was involved.
Like me, the reason because we were in the war. I slept in the bush for 3 months, and my father was killed by rebels, and my stepmother was killed. My grandfather was killed. Where I the body get rotting and at the ground suck the body. So some of us went to go. So we saw that cassette, so we fixed for war crime code. The house some of us went right in that group, started throwing the cassette, moving all around, protecting like we were laying on the street of Monrovia.
So you see that as a symbol of bringing justice and bringing relief to you. That was the purpose of your involvement.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Was that promised to you then by your then political leader, George Weah? Was that something you heard from himself directly, that he was going
Yes,
to bring justice?
yes, because we used to sleep up out of headquarters. Every night, people got to say, we got to say, yeah, war crime code, economic crime code. We instructed President Sally Johnson 24 hours for the war crime code business. So for George, we had to come to try to buy totally. Some are confused.
Do you regret the
incident? I'm regret. As I'm saying, I'm regret. It people saying like, bro, we need peace, but you cannot have peace where there's no justice. Peace ain't like Liberia. People feel like peace in the country, no peace there. Because out of here, I can go in like go to Liberia over there with a sniper weapon. They don't know. Because we still have our mind like one parent will kill with gun and those people in the public often we know that.
Do you think you ask all of the questions necessary before your even commitment, before getting to get involved to what you did? You ask all of the questions, you think?
You know, when people when you see the action during 2005 and 2011, you don't need to ask any question because they all came with our mind. They paid the expression, the sweat and blood. We just sit on the sidewalk and throw in the casket. So you need to ask any question again.
Okay. Lastly, do you think it's too late for the president, or why you want to recommend that the president can recover or the party can recover?
My recommendation to George Weah, when George Weah just wake up today, he talked about the war crime code today, all the establish the war crime code and the economic crime code in Liberia. You'll see all Liberians will wake up by. It's not food. Like all Liberians can provide food for themselves. If George Weah just wake up, it's a war crime code and economic crime code. All Liberians will wake up by and support him. It's not for him to go bring food or look for a job for Liberian people. When we know joy, I don't have the ability to bring joy to the country. It's Liberian will bring joy to themselves. Because if the country have justice, people carry company. Company will go invest there.
Okay.
Land for Bowman, those companies that people look at property. You think how company will come out of Liberia? No company can come because no any justice have been done to those companies. Like Prince Justin went back to Bowman and damaged everything. And they are imported up and passing Monrovia. No people equipment, what happened to it? So the company can come in Liberia now or justice. No investment will come to the country. So we know that you cannot provide job for all. It's out the war crime code and economic crime code that will make people have credible, in the government to have that concept trusting the government to bring investment in the country. A lot of Liberians like tomorrow like no people, but you cannot carry anybody like Liberia to make business there.
I think let's leave it here. I think a little bit emotion is getting into it, and I understand where you're coming from, especially people who really people saw some horrible things with what happens. I thank you so much. We just thought of hearing from my ordinary Liberians, their involvement and how they get to know their party and stuff like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go back to gentlemen. Guys, are you there?
Yeah, we're still here.
Yeah, we're still here.
Let me switch the gear.
Yes, sir.
Pa George, welcome. Alfonso, you know, you are a long-time human rights advocate from the Cali Justice and Peace Commissions in Liberia, being in the vanguard to get things going. The liberal progressive. There was a simple question here we asked, and we also requested for recommendation, but we have multiples of narrative yet. The inner part of Liberia, some who support the government, some who have their disagreement with the government, and other the ordinary Liberia where went wrongs and the recovery. Let's take it from the human rights side here. You heard the last speaker here. So he was a civilian. And the reason he was involved in getting this whole casket carrying to run is as some sort of symbolic thing to him to bring some relief, justice. He went on of telling us people that were harmed during the war. And multiple things he heard. Pick it up from there.
Yeah, I think people are dissatisfied. So a lot of people had a lot of hope for a lot of different things. And as you said, this gentleman and a lot of us and a lot of other people really believe and still believe today that the only way we can really put that country back on track is to have some semblance of rule of law rule of law, and justice and accountability. Or as the young man said, there are a lot of horrible things that happened. And unfortunately, those people who committed those crimes are the very people who are today the quote unquote leaders of the people. They are the people who, in addition to the crimes that they've committed, are continuing to commit more crimes, are continuing to keep the people in poverty, are continuing to rip the resources of the country to enrich themselves. And in addition to that, do so arrogantly. They drive around town, they don't care. They tell people to go to the TRC and they say, and they boast about the crimes that they commit. President Weah comes to power and says, in fact, what did alliances with those people, and those alliances brought him to power. Who was his vice president? The wife of Mr. Taylor. The very criminals in the society. Look in the government. Look in the government. Who's there? Criminals have all come together in this government. So it's not surprising that the crime will continue. It's not surprising that we don't have rule of law. It's not surprising that crimes are taking place in the country and nobody even cares to investigate or to hold anybody accountable because we have not built that culture, because we think that's not necessary. And there are a lot of people who are impacted by that, and they're dissatisfied. They were promised a lot of things that have not been delivered, and accountability for war crimes is one of them. They also see a lot of massive corruption going on in the country. Why their people hunger and thirst? Why they hunger and thirst in the street? What do they do to the young people when they want their votes? Then they go in the streets and give them a few cups of rice, or they give them a few dollars and say, "Let's go and demonstrate." And then they dance all over in the streets of the country and go home. Well, these people have children, they have wives they need to feed, they don't have jobs. You're not giving them the opportunity to be able to live fuller lives. And they're simply upset, they're simply dissatisfied. The other point I wanted to make really quickly is that your question is saying, going back to the drawing board. But part of the problem with the CDC never had a drawing board in the first place. They just rode the wave of anger. They had no platform, no agenda, no plan. And that's the reason why I believe Mr. Weah even refused to debate. There was nothing to debate or to talk about. They just rode the wave of the anger and frustration and hope of the people. And once they got into power, because they had no plan, because they had no agenda, they have nothing to deliver. The only thing they can do, therefore, is to keep riding that wave, which is let's dance in the street every day, let's make noise, let's wear red berets and walk around, because that's what we know to do. We don't know how to expand the economy. We don't know how to create jobs for these young people. In Ghana, I was reading the Economist magazine. It's a group of women came together and built a multi-million-dollar basket weaving business, just weaving baskets. These are things that we could do to create jobs for our people in the country. We can get young people together to start weaving baskets. We can get young people together to start making chairs and benches for our schools, for our government offices, so we're not buying furniture from SETI Brother and other places. That's job creation. That's how you address the needs of the people. But if the people don't have those things, of course they will not, they will get angry and they'll vote you out.
Okay. Oh my goodness. The liberal progressive.
Yes.
It is quite fascinating, some of the things that we are hearing tonight. And I hope people that even support the government, support the opposition, they will kind of listen, because people, the wheel is kind of spinning and turning around. The last speaker here talks about the war crime court and all of that. And I've been hearing a lot of that, but that's a very consequential issue for to keep it on course. First of all, can we have another group, these people that are also contesting that? Will we see anybody committing to that, to say, yes, I haven't heard anybody to adequately or comprehensively address themselves to that to say, okay, there will be a war crime, there will be audit, all of that. But what you make of all of these samplings that we have done here tonight?
Well, thank you, Mr. So. I think it's very interesting and it's very enlightening, to be honest with you. I think listening to our brothers, most of them are men here, speaking on issues somewhere emotional aspect and what have you, but they were all serious about it, about making these comments. Now, what I want to say is that this election, if we Liberian, put the government aside for a minute, we Liberian, if we want this country to move forward, we should consider this election as a teachable moment for all of us. There shouldn't be partisan involved and what have you, politicizing all of the decision that was made by the voters. But it's difficult to do. However, I think one of the things that I also want to point out here very quickly, Mr. So, is this. This government, Dr. Weah government, forget about the next 2023 election. I'm talking about the next 2 to 3 years that is left. This government can change things around. I think 2 days ago, I asked and I made that statement that I think if this government wants to change things around, they're going to come back to the middle and try to govern from there. In other words, this president, and I keep saying it, is very popular in Liberia, and you can't take that away from him. There's nothing you can do to take that away from him. They can vote against him. They can vote based on the anger of, say, people want to punish people around him. But if this thing was just about Dr. Weah himself, you're not going to get this kind of massive defeat that they have gotten. I believe the vote is a vote of anger against specific issue. I'll give you an example. Who was the one that advised Dr. Weah not to come out to do a declaration? He did declaration when he was running for senator. When he became president, he did not give any specific declaration in terms of wealth declaration. In fact, up to this point, we don't know exactly the declaration he did almost a month or so before the expired time. We don't know what is in that. What does he have to hide? He shouldn't have anything to hide.
But Mr.
I don't believe. Because first thing, we know Dr. Weah played football in Europe. So let's just suppose that he's squandered all of his wealth. Nevertheless, he's still a celebrity in Liberia. Besides being president, he as a celebrity can go to Lebanon Men's store or any bank and try to borrow money. If you're coming to this position, for 12 years, you and your people sat in Monrovia and cried on Madam Salih's name that their government was corrupt. You came into office, open your hands up and say, this is what I have. Fine. If you're going to get any other thing besides what you have, people are watching. The young man spoke earlier that what happened, Jefferson Kochi making $7,000 a month, so perhaps you can go to any bank and borrow. That's understandable. But these things you're now serving in public office, where trust of the people is very important. So you have to project that trust. But even if you're going to go borrow money from the bank, you make those things public. Let Liberian people see where your money coming from. If you're going to build a $200,000 house, where the money come from? If you borrow the money, just show it. You got nothing to hide. You're not running a farm.
Mr. To,
this is not a private institution. You're in a position of trust. And this is what is hurting them. Because Liberian people have no trust in them. The anger of this against this government, not against Dr. Weah as an individual, but the anger against the way these people being operating from day one, it's been over the mark.
Mr. To,
yes.
Before I go to George, I want you to a little bit expand on it and for clarity of my people. You say the anger against the government, but not George, not the president. George, President Weah. What is the interpretations of that? President Weah, you say, is not on the ballot. So are you?
Well, no. Let me be careful the way perhaps I made it too broad. Let's try to put it down a little bit narrowly. Now, President Weah is the president of the country. Every decision that is made by this government, the buck stops with him. I understand that. So if he comes and campaign for someone, he's also putting a reputation in line. However, what I believe is that if Dr. Weah himself were to say, I'm running to be senator, I think he would have won. What happened here, what I do believe, even though Dr. Weah campaigned for people, but the way people believe, truly believe, that those who supposed to be serving the president, they were not truthful to the president, and they were not giving the president truth information about what is happening in Liberia. Samuel Tuah McGill, they are named all over. And the president, my understanding, is very upset with these two people. Why is that? Because they were not being truthful. That's the point that I'm making.
So before I go to George, who is the victim of this whole thing here? Who you see as a political victim in this whole thing here?
For me, there's no political victim. For me, we have Liberian people are the winner. They have expressed themselves. Remember, Liberians are not stupid. I keep telling people this. When they voted for Dr. Weah and his people, after everything started going downhill, with people were blaming, oh, and y'all say that man y'all give up, and y'all say you're smart, y'all voted for. Not realizing that these same people that gave you the vote, they can come back and disagree and punish you. And that's exactly what they have done here. It is not victimizing somebody as to say they're speaking up to the people. They know, Dr. We still have 2 or 3 years. This is a warning to say if you want 12 years, you have to pivot. If you continue on this road you're on, we're just giving you a warning right now. If you continue with it, you're not going to get 12 years.
Okay, let me go to Pat Joyce. I have a contrary view to that, and you have all right. But I feel the actions of the voters is aimed at the president. I strongly feel they are unhappy as to how the government is being conducted, whether it's wrong or not. But that's my feel, because why he is the president. He is the one that is in charge, and so anyone that he supports, and people are turning against that president indirectly, they are telling the president something is not right. Pa George.
Yeah. How you doing? You know, Mr. So, I continue to get the play around. Person where is popular is the most popular person in Liberia, as they speak to according to them. But I want to make something clear. Celebrity popularity is something different from that of a political popularity. President Weah, right now, as I speak to people, it's one thing that you can let President Weah go today to contest for election in Liberia to see whether he will win it. Something got to be wrong with some of our people. This current election was a referendum on President Weah. And I continue to hear the excuses, the people around President Weah. So are you telling me if 57-year-old man who ruling 5 million people plus will not sit down to come to a conclusion to say this decision is wrong, I cannot take this? If something goes sour in Liberia, are you going to hold the Minister of Finance responsible? Are you going to hold the Defense Minister responsible? The people entrusted the power to President Weah to run that country. The lieutenant that he has around, he has the ability to fire them at any time. Nobody can question him. So I don't want to bother excuse people saying the people around President Weah. No. President Weah is part of the problem. When President Weah gets up and say, if anybody abuse me, they will not walk the street of Monrovia, who one advisor told him that? He go and stand here at church tell people, you want development or war crime code. I didn't talk about war crime code. When there are tapes there, this man saying that no Liberian blood will waste in vain. And people telling me it's the people around President Weah. That is a poor excuse to give President Weah a leeway. Everything that is happening, like President Weah is fully responsible and accountable for it. He is the president. There's no way around it. Look, the situation continue talking Liberia. Where is this center done on President Weah can pivot to the center? The sticking point is the economy. If that economy, a President Weah cannot revise that economy, there's no way for him to do that. The bread and butter issue is how someone will put food on the table and how someone will send a child to school. That is the bread and butter issue of Liberians. Today, we talk about family being derailed, no disrespect in the home, the children. And I said the one time, so if you have a 14-year-old daughter, and that daughter is not responsible to feed you or to feed me, what is the authority that you have to tell that child that they cannot go to point A or point B? The children now today in Liberia have become parents, and the parents now become children because of the economic hardship today that they are going through. You go to Liberia, go to every shortcut, see 13, 14-year-old girls there. If that girl left her house, that child, to go in the street and bring 10 down home in the morning, you think the father have the mind to say, where you got the 10 down from or where were you last night? She will say, I'll feed you. If you do it again, when I bring my money, you're not idiot. These are the things that Liberians are facing. People can talk about everything that person we are paving the center. The bottom line is how to revitalize the economy. Okay. Since President Weah came to power, I asked the last time, how many companies have come into Liberia? 0. 3 years. Instead, what happened? Companies falling out leaving the country. And you got the deputy minister, Eugene Falcon, used to sit down on Facebook. If TV company leaves, we'll bring 6 back. What was the thing of these people? The reality here is simple. The economy is the place that will bring President Weah down.
Okay, let me come back to here. Folks, I'm not sure whether we're going to receive call. We took call for more than 40 some more minutes here. So, Mr.
Yes, sir.
This is a tough one here. We have the opposition. We will deal with them. Everybody is no one off the table now. Does that mean it is extremely, or is it late for the president or not, the government? He's the head of the government. Is it late, or does he still have time on hand for recovery?
Oh, I think it's not too late. There's a lot that could be done in Liberia. I agree with Mr. Josh that the economy is critical. That's one aspect where I think the government needs to focus on. Because part of the reason why we have kids, young people dancing in the streets, because they're not busy. They're less busy. They don't have jobs to go to. Consequently, anybody can go and pay them to come and demonstrate in the street or to do whatever. That's one key issue. And the economy is extremely, extremely fundamental, as I said before. So I agree with Mr. Josh on that. And Mr. Weah can focus on that. The corruption in the country is really substantial economic development programs, some of which I mentioned earlier. You have $25 million MOPA program that still cannot be accounted for. You have $30 million food distribution program that cannot be accounted for. One of the callers said earlier, they're spending $150,000, $200,000 sending a government official to Ghana to go to school. We don't have equipment in our hospitals. If you just took $200,000, the $200,000 and put it into JFK, put it into Redemption Hospital, put it into Martha Tubman Memorial Hospital, you are doing something. If you took the $200,000 and brought 10 young people together and say, here's the place, here's the tools, just start making benches. So we're not going and buying benches and chairs for students in the class. You'll make the benches. After a period of time, when you guys, whatever is earned from there, we'll put someone aside, we'll pay you some of the money. After maybe a year or two, you can now go and continue your own business. And we will give you accountants and economists and people to help develop your business plan. That's why if that was done, that will create jobs for people. And once people have the means and the resources to take care of themselves in this country, brother, how many of us work for the government? It's mostly private sector. But the government creates the environment. The government creates the opportunity. The government gives citizens money and resources to go and start business and then pay back later. That's critical for that country. Corruption, addressing corruption, which is a very important element, accountability, it's also critical. And let me emphasize one point here. Yes, Mr. Weah is responsible, entirely fully responsible. I don't want to blame people around him. I was speaking to somebody yesterday, a friend of mine, and he said, look, we're tired hearing this thing about advisors. He said, who appoints the advisors? The president appoints the advisors. The president chooses the people he appoints to advise him. Who does he choose? He chooses the people he wants to hear from. He trusts. He chooses people whose views he believes in. Because of that, he's responsible. Also, we cannot assume that these advisors, and I do in newspapers to say this is the advice I gave the president or I advised the president yesterday. The president has all the obligation, all the authority to accept the advice or not to accept the advice. Maybe they're giving him advice and he's rejecting the advice. We do not know. So the assumption that is the advisors, is the people. Where is the program that he's holding his appointees accountable to? When they go to cabinet meeting, if they ever do go to cabinet meeting, what does his agriculture minister, what program does he ask them to put on the table? What are they discussing? What does his minister of finance and development planning tell him is the national agenda? If he tells you today, this is the national economic development agenda, when you go to the next cabinet meeting, do you ask what's the implementation? Where are we in terms of the implementation? If you say we need to get young people a job after 6 months, how many young people have we employed? It's the president's job. He is responsible for that. It's not the Minister of Finance and Development Plan. If the Minister of Finance and Development Plan is not performing his tasks, you fire him, you remove him or her and replace them. If you had an agenda that you follow, then you go by that agenda and then you hold people accountable. That is the failure of the administration. The failure of administration, it's the failure of the leader of that team.
This sort of a concept or theory, if you will, to call all of us dive into Jefferson Koji, what his name, Nathaniel Magee, Samuel Tuwe, they are the people. I think we have been making the wrong calculation here. It takes me back in the day of Samuel Doe. Samuel Doe, he was the president. He's the commander in chief. He has the constitutional authority to appoint and to dismiss. And his Harrison Pennell, the late Harrison Pennell, and other people that were doing things out of the way, okay, we will say this person good, this person good. But when you have people, you're confident when they begin to do things, and it begins to put dent on your character, dent on your government, dent onto the country you are in charge. If you fail to take action, it appears out there to free thinker or ordinary person say, these people are acting on the directive of the president. This is why you see people all over the place here. When anything happens, the president knows about it. The president sent them. So it's because perhaps enough is not being done, because in terms of action, the payback, the consequences, nothing is being implicated. The people are not implicated, and even if they are, it's not being conclusive. So, how damaging this is to the political future of the president, because the same very people that lifted him so high are the same people coming and taking a 360 degrees somersault to do what they are doing. And that's what I say. Well, the actions of the voter is to hate the president politically, but at the same time, probably he still have an opportunity to see what he can recover. Mr. Toll.
Yes, Mr. So, thank you. Again, let me just say this. I agree with the rest of the panelists. I agree with them that the president, the buck stopped with the president, and I've always stated that. I was just trying to separate as an individual. If you were to put individual Dr. Weah against any other person because of his popularity, which I truly believe still exists. Now, let's go back on to trying to share blame or what have you. The point that I'm making, and I will continue to make that, is this. Those people that are supposed to be implementing the policy of the president have failed this president. Now, you can say the president have the power to fire people. That's correct. But in leadership, you have to have relationship, number one. Because first of all, you expect these people to work for you and do what is right. And if you do not have a relationship along with these people, the key personnel in your cabinet or whatever, where are you going? You're going to be firing people all the time if nothing is right? I don't believe that's how it's supposed to work. So firing people, yes, there are certain times you're going to have to let go of certain people. Okay, and I've been arguing that. But here's the overall point that I'm making. This president, until the president can recognize that he is working for the Liberian people and not for a specific people's or a specific party, he will not succeed in moving to 2023. The voters have already sent a message. It's not to hurt the president, I don't believe. I think they did this to explain in a word, to say to the president, we do not believe that you are doing.
That's something. They are very difficult. If you say they do it not to hurt the president, are you saying they are cheering the cherish?
No, Mr. So when I said not to hurt, I mean to emotionally drain the president. I don't believe this is what this message is.
That's what's happening. I don't know how you want to.
No. I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
If the president we have to ever call you, you would be one of the bad advisors. I can tell you.
No, Mr. So let us not take that line because this is a very serious conversation. So the point that I'm making here, they're not going to call me. They know who I am. They're not going to call me. I don't even know them anyway. But this is the point that I'm making. The message that was sent. Clear message that was sent, not just to the president. And if we read it as such, then we're making mistake because this is also a message that is also sent to the opposition that you have to do what you say you're going to do for us or else these are the conditions. And we are Liberians no longer going to sit here and expect people to come and buy vote, give her back a right, because you remember during the election, that's all they were doing, passing your back a right. It didn't help them. So the politicians themselves, they're going to pivot. They're going to turn around and say, the last time we get back a right, look at this. They're going to do something better now by this message. So let me go back to the president, Mr. So. The president issue here, I don't believe that this is to hurt him. What I'm saying is the message is clear to the president. You told us this is what you were going to do, and you have deviated from that plan. And therefore, this is what we're telling you. This is the message. Because president was involved in campaigning for these people, and many of them are not being successful, number one. Second thing, they have a pro-poor agenda. These people have thrown the pro-poor agenda completely on the side. They're not even talking about it anymore. The president have not been served by what's his name, the two of your panelists have just talked about the economy. Who supposed to be people that carry out the economic policy in Liberia? It's the finance minister and perhaps the bank governor. These are the people that are charged, responsible to carry out these kinds of policies. If they're not doing it, what? Yes, the buck stops with the president, but the president is there to make sure that the policies sent out to these people who's supposed to implement it. And if they are not implementing the policy, they need to go.
Mr. Toh, before I go to, I'm not sure how you want to reconstruct this whole thing here. One time you say here that you were against that President Weah, they wanted to gain control of the Senate or both houses, and that was something you frown on while the Brinking Delon alone is supposed to run. So then, wait a minute here. How do you think the agenda of the president? You have to gain control of perhaps both houses, the upper and the lower. Why you think, hold on, I gave you a chance. You're going to have your day in court. Why you think all of these multiple candidates, why you think the president lifted these people? Because those are the people the president perhaps, of course, and I don't have no problem. He has the right to campaign. Why you think the president lifted the hands of this individual here? Went to Bon County, Ayala, he's been defeated. Went to Bomi County, Talo is being defeated. Went to Mount Gibby County, Jones is being defeated. Why you think he put his character on the ground? It's his government. He wants to solidify his strength of his government in order for the government agendas to move through. And these people are defeated. And you telling me, say the president is not politically right? If you were president, well, don't you think you're going to have a nightmare sleep?
Mr. So, if the president
left from as a chief diplomat, went to Grand Bassa County. These are people strategically within the minds of the ruling establishment. They felt these are viable candidates that when they win those places, it helped in the long term to solidify their position for 2023. And guess what? What happened? And you think the president going to sleep fine with that? You think if I'm president, do you think I'm going to sleep? I won't even eat for 4 or 5 days.
You left for Nima.
Maybe he's not eating.
Okay.
Let me make a point.
Let me answer your question, Mr. So. And here's what I'm going to say.
Sorry. Yes. I think, brother, I agree with you to some extent. Yes, those people should also be held accountable, not just the president. They are there as the implementers of the policy, assuming there's a policy in the first place. I don't see a policy. I've never heard of a policy. I've heard of a propo as it's been a slogan rather than a policy. I have not seen a single policy item related to the propo agenda. So let's assume they have a policy and those guys have to be implementing the policy. They are failing. That's true. Mr. Toy is right. What we're saying here is the president should first of all recognize that they're failing. And if they are failing, why are they failing? I think one of the reasons they're failing in the first place to begin with is they're not competent. So he's put incompetent people in place to run the policies. That's number one. Number two, they're failing because they're corrupt. And the president should see these things. People argue he doesn't know. Well, he should know. The fact that he's not taking action to correct these things is the problem. It's his undoing. Now, is he hurt politically? Obviously he is. Did the Liberian voters intend to send him a strong message that they are hurt and they are and express their displeasure? Absolutely. He is hurt politically. Mr. So you're right. The reason he wanted control of the Senate and various key positions, which every president should do, is so they can get their agenda through. Now, if you can't even get your budget to pass through the Senate, if you can't get your appointees to pass through the Senate, obviously it is a problem and you will be hurt politically. So he is hurt politically and it was a major blow to him politically.
Mr. So, let me add on something here, please, if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
The way I view this result, I know President Weah and his people, they were defeated. But I believe for President Weah, this should be a movement of somehow trying to be truthful to the Liberian people. What do I mean by this? If the president were to be successful, all of the people that he campaigned for were to be elected, it will be he sent things out there to the Senate or the representative and only expect approval. Now, and the Liberian people are going to still be angry. But now, with this type of situation, this gave him the opportunity to utilize another skill of his, negotiation. You send things out there, you know you're not in majority, you're not going to have a rubber stamp over there, but you're going to negotiate with those that are in the House of Representatives, those that are in the Senate. This gives you a true character of trying to build institution on one hand. On the other hand, if you're successful and negotiate policy or whatever it is, and they come back to you and you present that to the Liberian people, it will have the stamp of every stakeholder. So it's no longer just you. And I think if the president approached that, this entire situation from that perspective, I think he would do well.
But Mr. So, let me hold you there. You were here the other day, you said that.
No, that told, no, that told.
Mr. Toll, you were here the other day, you were talking about that there's no need that the president should have the absolute majority or whatever you are supporting him. Now, you coming back now to say, oh, now that there's opposition, I think it will be okay. And sometimes I find a little bit.
No, hold on, but just let me hold you there. When I said that I don't see the president, no need for him to have absolute majority, it's the same thing I'm saying. The fact that he doesn't have absolute majority now, that should give him the ability now to use the skill of negotiation.
There you go.
To be able to negotiate with opposition so that he will be able to get his policy through. If he doesn't, because before it was going to be rubber stamp, that would have been bad, because Liberian people say, oh, he just get a pure money. But people will not say he gave dollars little money if dollars little is on board on issue that is truly negotiated.
No,
truthfully negotiate issue that will benefit the Liberian people. That's the point I'm making.
Your argument at the time, because you are Liberty partisan, and so
oh my
idea they were breaking.
This is Mr. So please, let's forget about that. This is a very interesting conversation.
Yeah,
I don't want to touch you and Pat George.
No,
let's just leave the policy out of it.
Why are they bringing Thomas Fowler? Then you come here. Darrell is doing fine, so nobody should contest. Are you serious? That's ridiculous.
Oh my God. I can't believe we have a wonderful conversation, a truthfully intellectual conversation. Now you're going to bring in partisan issue on here. Mr. So, what is your party, by the way? Uncover sedition? Is that what we have here with you and Pat George? I suspect you and Pat George not just a conservative, but I think the way Pat George can be talking all the time, I think both of you are uncover sedition. I truly want to believe that.
Let me tell you, you said here before, if even a sedition or the very opposition, they are not even friends. I don't say, because I will not even spend a day. I'm not a guy who want to shut up. The both group, their inability to even sell their own agenda. These opposition people here, they're not even, all of them, they're not even correct. So that's why they just see all this thing here. But I don't want us to go there.
Yeah.
These days, we will decide which way to go. But
we will take on them.
We want to keep the conversations of Liberia. We want to keep it proportional. So honestly, when I can spend an hour there when I join them. I can't stand them. All of them. But George, go ahead.
Yeah. And yes, some of the things that trouble me about President Weah. When you hire people, you hire them with the intent to deliver certain things, certain services. And if they are not delivering and you fail to remove them, then of course you are indulging the action of those people. We look at some of the appointments. Take for instance, the guy that under Wagadugu, or why you call him ever, is sent to the elected at the election commission. See how angry Liberians were. Liberians they were angry to the point that he shamelessly withdrew that man. Then, after the scandal came up, and he still got a man there, you take my US Shaw, an advisor, Archibald Bonner.
Who yet to give account of our Falcon jet for some years
Bright.
government?
Yes, Bright. You bring these people, and every Liberian know the role that these people play that led to the civil war in Liberia. You surround yourself with these people. Who asked you to pick these people? It was your personal decision. You brought people around because they don't go for confirmation hearing. You brought them around you. And people expect us to say, oh yeah, the people around the president. For me, I will continue to say that's a poor excuse. Secondly, you look at the justice system, the judicial system in Liberia. These are major components that will encourage investors to come into the country. Because when someone is putting their money somewhere, they expect the judicial system to be vibrant, that if they have an issue when they go to the court, they should have a redress. But when the court is corrupt, that also helps to drive investors away. These are issues is not being addressed. We sat down and witnessed the illegal removal of Cabinet Janet for political reasons. Now look at what happened just recently. The United States government treasury had put sanction on Bani Shema for bribing the court in Liberia. Are those things to encourage investors to come into the country? No. You are driving investors away. Now, what is that agenda? They talk about pro. President, where in his campaign? I think he said when he elected the first 90 days, he was going to create 100,000 jobs. Those were his own words. And what I'm seeing here is that Liberia, because people from time immemorial, leaders have continued to disappoint people, the voters. And now today, if they give you power, the margin for mistake is very narrow. They want immediate dividends. They don't have time to wait for 2, 3 years, 5 years. No, they don't. So if you are not prepared to provide a direction to improve the life of the people, sooner or later that leadership will be gone. Because Liberia today is changing gradually. Look at what President William did against corruption. He took power. The local incident. What he told the Liberian people when he presented the report today, he's still sitting on it. The issue at the Defense Ministry, I think 10 million hours used by Bernie Samboka then during the early time. What President William said? He said he taking responsibility of the $10 million. How can a leader take responsibility when people money was being misused by another government and you come and say you're taking full responsibility? Is that how a country that we want to move forward in the 21st century, fighting corruption, to create jobs for people, to improve the life of the people? When those institutions that are supposed to do it, you try to silence or institution. You get it that you don't want certain tenure position to be there because you want your way to be done freely. So here is the issue now that President we have on him. I don't know how many senators will be coming into the Senate. And now you're going to see the real fight starting because they're going to nominate people to go for confirmation hearing. How is he going to walk that line now? Because he's not going to take anybody and just and then they say the mail will pass. No. He will need the opposition now to help confront those people. So what is he going to do now in this case?
Yeah, let me bring in, and that's a very critical point here to bring in. I want to welcome our man SK from the Lpr-Tv network here, all of us here on this same business here with different way of looking at things. You're talking about senators. We're going to have about 118 going to be coming on board, and it means the leadership of the Senate. Am I right? The leadership of the Senate now too is at stake.
Absolutely.
Is at stake.
The leadership of the Senate could change.
Yeah. So
mhm.
yeah, so it's very critical to have some of these people who and the president, and that's why sometimes when we keep this conversation, other people say they hate the president. No, but I hate people who are sycophants because there are people who really closer to the president, and this has been the pattern not only from Dr. Weirton, from the Turbotan, the Dotan, in fact, all of our African government. People are so much protective of their job than to even serve, not to be disrespectful to the president, but hey, after even your cap in the meeting, you can, if you're closer to the president, you can, hey, Mr. President, this is so XYZ we discussed today. But for what we are hearing outdoor there, this seems not to be good. That's why you are close confidant. That's why they are ministers upon ministers, or that's why they are some people that are closer. But how many of them can even do it? How many of them, they go out there and everything that tells the president, everything is okay. The reason the men appoint you to bring you closer is because there are certain places the president can't go that he used to go because security protocols and all involved. He will not do it openly. They hire his director and other people are going to go out there. So the reason you are there as a watchdog to bring or to say, hey, this is what we are hearing out there. But how many of them really willing to put their finger up and look in the eyes of the president and say, no, Mr. President, this is so. It's not going good. It's not good for your political future. It's not good for this country. This is not. They are not doing that. And to add insult to injury, people who are even speaking for the government, they do not have the tone. They do not have the language. Their thoughts are not seizing. So it is a challenge. They are unable, their popular relations. You saw here, somebody measure here. Is it a PRO? That's true. That's not everything. All of the kitchen sink that the opposition thrown at the government, not everything is actually it's correct. But the opposition also realized the government inability to defend, to articulate herself. They're being on the defensive than something. When you have UG Fago as a deputy minister of war, it takes time to focus 2 hours of his pop show on a talk show host instead of promulgating the agenda of the government. What does that tell you? How many times have they not come say they admitted that they want to straighten their communication skill from the executive manager? Have they done that? No. You have multiple people, lawmakers serving as a spokesperson, other administrators serving as a spokesperson of the government. It never, you know that. It never even worked on a Samuel Doe like that. Emmanuel Buya was the only spokesperson. Carton Carper was only the spokesperson. Honest Ismo, when he was a foreign minister, he was a spokesperson of the government. You never heard why his name said Johnson from City Hall at the time to just get her and go talk for government. No.
You're right. You're right. And the thing is, in addition to that, they're blending the party leadership and the party issues with governance issues. So the city mayor, for instance, can come and speak for the government and say he's chair of the youth wing of the party. So they're not even distinguishing. They haven't even started.
All of them even doing that. And when you go every day, they're calling endless press conferences all over the place.
Yeah.
Effectively.
And that's exactly the point I was making. It's about competence. At some point, they do not know what to do. They hit the brick wall. So once they hit the brick wall, no new ideas, nothing to do, they revert to what they know best, which is to hold these press conferences, get the slogans, get themselves and the kids dancing, and then they go home because that's what they know to do. You know what cities do, what city mayors and what city leaderships do around the world. City mayors and city governments run the world. They are the people who address the major issues in the city. It's not even the national government. Who takes the trash in your community? It's the city.
Who runs the schools? Who runs the police force? Who does it? It's the city. The city you're in, the city I'm in, the city of Philadelphia. The governor of Pennsylvania doesn't come and run the city of Philadelphia. The city mayor runs the city of Philadelphia. City mayor is such a critical position, therefore. What do? We celebrate, we dance, walk in the street. That's all we do in our city corporation. So our trash is not picked up. So the garbage is the sorry to say the word I was going to use, I didn't want to use it. But poop is rolling down our streets in Monrovia. You know, and all we're doing is we're wearing red berets and doing Amanda Awetu and dancing in the streets. And the people are not feeling the effect of their government. And that's the reason why they send a major rebuke to the government. Hopefully, for the last 3 years of this administration, in this term, they will learn and they will make the change. They will learn and realize that, look, these are the promises we made to the people. Beyond that, these are the needs of the people. How do we address those issues? We have a great slogan, Propo Agenda. Such a wonderful slogan that was borrowed from the UNDP. Let's put some flesh on it. Let's put some meat in it. Let's see when we say Propo, what does that mean? What does that mean for healthcare? Instead of firing healthcare workers because they won't pay, how do we engage and address them and hire more healthcare people? Instead of firing teachers or threatening them when they want their pay, how do we negotiate dialogue and put money into it? The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey manages tunnels and toll booths and raises revenue that goes to support those states. What did our Port Authority do? Their development agenda was to put up a story building and says this is and call it development. And call it development. That's not development. Because what you're going to do, you then have to maintain that building. You have to maintain the electricity in that building. So they put millions of dollars in the building that will give them nothing back when they could have taken some of that money and maybe invested in something that will create jobs and that will bring revenue. Because they're not expanding the economy, the best they can do is to cut people pay and say I don't know how to even call it whatever the term was. Cut people pay and say, oh, people making more money, so we cut their pay and this, that we have.
Salary harmonization.
Harmonization. When in fact, if you have one pie, they bake one rice bread for you, and you don't bake an additional rice bread, or you don't find a bigger pot to bake a bigger rice bread, it's still the same piece of rice bread. I don't care how you cut it, slice it or dice it. It's still the same piece. And that's exactly what's happening in Liberia. Our source of revenue is the Lebanese stores that are down there. They still remain the same. Our source of revenue is the fuel, Firestone, and whatever we have for year. It still remains the same. Until we make change and expand, we will remain where we are. We'll have no meaningful development, period. And our people will continue to be angry. And our country will continue to be unstable, therefore.
Let me say into this, Gary, here this evening, before somebody go with stomach pain. I strategically, right? This was a very important, consequential senatorial race. Let's look at the face of the campaign. I don't know what was going through the minds of the CDC. Major Koji, he's a young, decent man, and he deserved to get some huge responsibility. But seeing all that was unfolding, all of the kitchen sink, some are true, some are not true, no facts to most of the things. And the throw in here, he says some ridiculous things. That's the normal routines of all politicians, even to radio hosts. Some of us, sometimes we say some stuff and things. But do you think he has that sort of political strength to have drive this sort of election, this sort of senatorial way for a ruling establishment that was trying to gain control of the upper house to be the one to have conducted this first and foremost? Are there no other elders or politicians, real people with tolerance who able to really go inside depth and get the real information and go to do all of the vettings? Was that a mistake on the part of the ruling establishment?
Well, part of the problem was they thought that, and I'm sorry, I'll be brief here, is that they thought that by going, and dividing food and money to people, because that's what Koji and his people were doing, that was the political strategy that could win them the race. So that was the strategy. And sometimes when you have your strategy, you pick people who you think would then implement the program within that strategy. So their political thinking was, if we can give people fresh $500 banknotes or give them a few cups of rice, they will and dance with them in the streets, then they will vote for us. Koji is the one who's good at doing that. He will bring those boys to dance around the street and would divide the money. So let's select him to do that. That was it. Now, if they had an agenda that says, let's go to West Point and find out what the needs and concerns of the people are. Let's go to Claratown and do the same. Maybe they would have picked somebody else. Regardless of Koji's age, I think he's inexperienced. I think he doesn't know. And I think he did what he knows to do, which is to mobilize the young people, I hate to use this word, Zogos, to go around town and dance and create a shit. But the people knew that, hey, they will give me rice today, they'll give me this $20, $30 today. Once they win, they will turn their backs to me. So here's what I'll do. I'll take the rights, I'll take the money, and I'll vote for the person or people who I think will really advocate for me. And that's what happens.
And the reason I asked this question here, and something talking coming with Pat George, is the VP, the CDC is a coalition. The VP came from a very strong wing of another political party that also helps to drive CDC to be on the finishing top today. And I want to pick a candidate there without having that sort of in-house, indoor conversation. As a result, there was a divided party, there was a divided house. They pick a person who the VP said the VP was not aware about. There was no consultation, not necessary to get 100% consent, but as a team were to form a real good coalition. That did not happen. And you have a sitting or Congress or representative there who was throwing jabs at the VP, and they went to measure arm. See where we are today. Prince Moe now is going to the Senate.
Right.
Is going to the Senate. The guy who handed lifted, Henry Yala, is being defeated.
Yes, I think that's another thing this election has done. To be honest with you, this election not only sent message to the president about their inapt behavior towards the Liberian people, thing that they're supposed to do, but they also send a message to the president that those who are around you, especially Bond County, that you have to settle the issue with the president's hands now is weaker when it comes to the vice president. He has to now, like again, pivot and try to bring the vice president on board. The vice president in Bond County hand is stronger. People like Marvin Cole, he has to now go back to his mom, which is the vice president, and pretty much eat a crab with no shame, apologize to her. He's going to be in deep trouble.
His job is at stake 2023.
Yes, that's the point. So unless he go back to his mom and say, I'm sorry, where the mom going to take him publicly and try to anoint him again? Other than that, he's in trouble.
Pa Joyce,
let me say this.
You are the Bond County son.
If I'm living in 2023, I will be in Liberia. I'm going to take on Marine Code then. I'm going to take on them. I'm going to take on them.
How?
These guys are ungrateful. The game they were playing, they did not calculate what they were doing. What they did was to conspire against the woman that brought them into government. Not just that. Marvin Cole worked in Joel worked in the office. Henry Yala, Esther Walker. She brought them on board because George Weah wants to get rid of the vice president so to connive with George Weah.
How do you get rid of her in what way?
Mr. So, take for example, you and Mr. Toll, today I'm on the platform because of you people. Then I come down and say, no,
want to kick Tor out. You know, we'll be into. Oh, I forgot. I don't know why I bring that out. We want to kick the man out too.
Yeah. So now he accused that we want to kick him out. But here's the thing here. They decided, Yala, because the plan was, once we get Yala win the senatorial seat, Esther Walker is on our side, Mervyn Cole is on our side. Now, we can now orchestrate the plot to kick her out of the party. We'll bring other people out to kick her out of the party. And once they kick her out of the party, then they can raise the issue. She's no more member of the party. She's not the chairman again of the party. So we can't carry her again. I have my personal issue of the vice president. But what I'm coming in her defense is the way that Henry Yala then behaved to her. A complete betrayal. Henry Yala, this guy, corrupt. Mervyn Cole, you know, we're on this program, we're talking about the hospital in Bond County. When the government decided to pull all the doctors from Phoebe Hospital, you know I was on the program talking about it. Henry Yala, Mervyn Cole, the Esther, none of them said anything. And I said on this program that the death of those people, anybody that died from Phoebe Hospital, the blood will be on Mervyn Cole hand, Henry Yala and Esther Walker. They sat down as elected people, the government pulled all the doctors out of the hospital, knowing very well that the government hospital does not have any equipment to take care of any trauma or patient. No surgery, no surgical machine in the hospital. But they decided, because they said the government said that they have to be on the board of the hospital. And who orchestrated those deals? It was Mervyn Cole then. Did that. But here's the bigger problem here now. The divide that is in the party. How can President Weah in this vibrant reconcile? That's someone tell me. Where is the trust? Politics is about trust. Where is the trust now? That they will sit down and say, yeah, you know, we can go back to the day of the campaign. How can these people trust one another after what this woman has gone through or going through with them? You remember that the vice president house were invaded by the deputy, one of the director from NSA with gun. He had a scaffold with the security. The Minister of Justice said they were going to investigate. We still waiting for that investigation. Sheku Sherry, this crazy guy on one of the FN there, insulted this woman in the public. We all here on the same platform. The president did not say one word. No minister. I mean, insulted this woman in the public on radio. The vice president, a sitting vice president. What did the president say? Not a word. So what do you think that people from Bonkane think of George Weah? What would be your thinking as someone from that county that this president is humiliating or ostracizing someone from your country and no justification simply because he had gotten to where he wanted to be. So therefore he don't need her again. So what he will do, he will ostracize her, frustrate her, so she can resign. Well, the problem here now is people you're talking about reconciliation. I don't know how that will happen. But the Jefferson Kochi, Mr. Toole, Jefferson Kochi, what is this guy political base? This guy got no political base. Those boys are hanging around Jefferson Kochi is because he gave them $5 or $10 from City Hall money. The money from the marketeers and he gave it to them. That's all. This guy had no base, no weight. That is to tell you the incompetence of the CDC party. Jefferson Kochi. They said right when Donald Trump first when he won the election, what they said? They said, well, they were going back to the drawing board. They had a big conference. They said they had realized their mistakes. What happened there? How can you? They say, oh, the people were disenchanted, so they had come back to base. But hey, you are not providing a job for any of these people. You are not solving the major problem with this government. It's the economy. I continue to repeat it. It's the economy. And when you have the youth unemployment rate, maybe 60 to 70%, that poses also a security threat to the nation. And this government is not looking at that. You got thousands of youth who are unemployed. Those people can be swayed by anybody to do anything in that country. And these are the critical issues that someone are talking about. The youth unemployment rate in Liberia, it is a major security threat to the country. And if this government cannot address the economic situation in Liberia first, I'm sorry. One money will get up, that shit will be upside down.
All right. I think we have done a lot here. I'm coming through one hell of a one out here before we wrap it up. We're just going to get a little tips of it, but we're going to find time for how long we've been talking about the government. One of the elephants in the room with the opposition is Mr. Heron Costa, his start of talking. Should he still continues the language descriptions of the presidents and all of that? I'm not sure whether he's talking directly, but anyway, the CPP, they are all CPP and part of inclusiveness of the opposition black stepchild COP.
What
should he still
if Costa wants to take leadership in Liberia? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm asking. And the reason I'm saying, I don't know where we're going to be as up, but talking to people all over the place, I want to make a complete educated guess. He's one of the persons to be, to go hands on with, comes 2023 with Sir Joseph. I predict that is most likely. Will we see him to change his tone, or should he still continue his talking start as he addressed the government or the president?
Well, for me, I truly believe that if Costa, who I think, and I hope he would consider that, because I think he can lead. But in order for him to move to that step, he's going to have to get out of the systems he's in now, which is a talk show host where you can say anything you want to say, use any language you want to use. But if you want to be a senator, you want to challenge somebody.
I don't think you should use any language.
The what now?
I don't think there's a license for that. You're being
no, there's no license, but there's no law against it either. It's just a human nature. For example, here on LPR, we're not allowed to use certain language because we ourselves, based on our moral value, based on our own ethic, we decided to stay away from certain words. It's not that we're not able to use them, but so nobody's saying you can't say it. But what I'm saying is, in order for you to move to the next step, Costa going to have to somehow put the judge where issues and everything else on one side, and then become a true spokesperson for the people, where he will now talk about how and what it is that he's bringing on board.
Okay, Josh.
Yeah, I tend to agree with Mr. Toe. And I have said it before. Costa has law for the country. But I think the way sometimes he presents it, I have a problem with it. And if he wants to play the role of a leader in Liberia, you will have to recalibrate himself as the way he talks or presents the issue. Because I will say, Naya, you can be saying everything right about me, but your presentation of that issue will create some concern or will make me sometimes nervous. And this is why I'm saying that if Costa really wants to play a major role in the political scene in Liberia, he will have to change the way he presents things. That's just the reality.
Yeah,
passion. You can have the passion. I understand that, but your language now should be refined because you are talking to people across the world. It's not just that you're talking to certain segment of the society, no. And tomorrow, we're going to hold you responsible for some of the statements you're making. It's just it. And let me just leave it on this note. Let me just throw in this. Mr. Soul, take my word, keep this word. The president pro tem of the Liberian Senate, that job is in jeopardy.
Oh, that's awesome. Depending,
I think the speaker's job is also in jeopardy.
I don't know the number of the speaker, but I'm seeing the Senate, the President pro
What
tem.
happened now? The
They told me
speaker,
they see the
two persons going in now, so we don't know how you're gonna log that. But more importantly, the pro tem.
I know.
Because you have Borchers, all of these people all going. So, Mr.
Yeah. So, I haven't. Let me confess here. I haven't listened to a single Henry Costa show, so I really don't know what he says and how he says it. Why? I just haven't really developed any interest in listening to any of his shows. So I don't know. But from your question, I'm assuming that he's insulting and whatsoever. If that is what it is, then obviously, that's not conducive for leadership. But here's what I would say to that. I think what's happening here is that a lot of people have learned over time. A lot of these talk show people have learned over time that the way to get popular, the way to win political points of victory is to talk that way. And because that has happened over time. In fact, people who had 9 political offices actually talked that way, acted that way. It made them popular. They got to the places. So the other people are saying, you know what? I can do the same thing and get to where I want to get to too. There were days, remember, when female underwear was being hung on stuff, Kool-Aid were being dripped on it, and it made people popular, and they got elected to office. So the new group of people are saying that, well, if I do that, I'll get popular too. And by doing that, they're popular. We're talking about Henry Costa today. He's popular because he talks that way. So the system, we the people need to tackle, and I'm happy by the way that you're raising that on your show. People need to begin to start talking about these things and see whether or not
We're going to talk. Nothing is off. Nothing is off
exactly.
the table
So,
for sure.
Exactly. So I'm happy that you're bringing it up. People need to look for substance in the people who want to lead or the people who are presenting themselves out there as leaders. Unfortunately, in our society, it's not about substance. It's about verbosity. It's about, insulting people. It's about formality. It's about dancing and singing. It's about, coming and saying stuff, whether they're true or not. And then you become popular, which is unfortunate. And we need to change that. Mr. Toe, I like that, by the way. So I don't know if you're using that. I don't know if you're using that.
No name. You can't spot it.
I don't know if you're using that.
Fake something together. This is the original one.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I may get fake something there. Don't you? This is the original.
Original one, right?
I get big.
Thank you, my brother, for my culture activities. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
So I think we should start focusing. We should start driving. Those of you who have these platforms should start driving down to our people that our experiences should tell us that we should be looking for substance, not formality anymore. Because when we follow celebrity, when we follow formality instead of substance, here where we are today. Therefore, we think it's important to whoever comes to you must come with an agenda, with a program. And there's one final point I want to make, which we do not do a lot in the Liberian society. We do not look at people's track records. We do not look at their previous performances. They come and they tell us things and we say, hey, and we jump to them. I always tell people, anybody can write a beautiful speech or go to somebody to write a beautiful speech for them. Anybody can make promises. Actually, every Liberian knows the problem facing Liberia. We all know it's out there. What we need is actual programs and agenda. So if Afonso Nyenon comes to you today and say, if you elect me, I will fight for war crimes court. What is my track record on that issue in the past? Let's look for it, because anybody can make promise to you, and then after that, so it's important. And I think this platform and many other platforms should begin to do that. So I want to thank you and all of you, Mr. Soul, Mr. Toe, Mr. Josh, for that.
Okay.
I've been listening, and I've seen
Thank
sometimes, and I've been listening to you all making raising those issues.
Thank you as well. We appreciate your
Wrap it up here today.
input.
There is a potential problem breeding within the CPP. We're going to find another time for that in Nima County. Burkett Flomo, who is the magistrate, one of the magistrates, investigation is ongoing. I don't know what going to be the outcome of that with respect to some of the voting processes that went on, either Gonglo way and then what his name
Is that the polling place where one candidate got 1,000 and another person got 0?
Right now they are about what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are a lot of issues this letter here, but investigation continues.
Okay.
With this representative by George, Prince Johnson on the man,
Jeremiah Kuhn.
Jeremiah. You know, today Jeremiah Kuhn kind of slipped over because of Tai one way and Edith heavily divided vote there. I don't know whether that's going to be a long-term future problem with the Liberal Progressive Party, Liberty Party, and ANC, but that's what we're going to find a little bit. Okay, well, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for being part of tonight's program. It's 11:15 Eastern Standard Time. The old man got to go to bed. The Liberal Progressive now, he's the one. You see, I know him very well. I see him looking at your phone now. Then he gave up. He can't stand the firing power. He rather give up. So, what's your final word before we wrap up?
Yeah, I'll go back to the question, which is actually how do we move forward? Can they recalibrate and move forward? Again, I want to say it's possible to recalibrate and move forward. There are a number of things that need to happen. They need to focus on accountability. They need to start fighting corruption. They need to listen to what we've been telling them all the times, that we need to prosecute corrupt government officials, people who are taking away the resources. Every dollar, every penny that's stolen by somebody is money that's taken away from building a school or from paying a teacher or from providing healthcare or for creating job for another person. We need to focus on those things. Mr. Weir and his government need to develop an actual program and try to implement that program and go from community to community and find out what the concerns and the issues of the people are and begin to address those issues. That's the only way at this point that I believe that they can address. I'm not saying that they will make a political comeback, but at the very least, they'll begin to meet those promises that they made when they ran for president and other positions.
So, meaning, bottom line, the president should get himself out there and speak to the Liberian people.
Yes, I think right now the president should come up right now and give a speech and say, "I've seen the results of the elections. I've seen the."
I think that would be a noble thing. People are going to see other him side of him.
Yes. I've seen the results of the election. Liberian people have spoken.
Right.
I hear your message loud and clear. Going forward, we will follow your dictates. We will follow what you want to do, and this is the program and agenda that we will follow to implement those things. I think that would be noble, and that would be a very
good thing. That would be a good himosa. Give me a chance. I have 3 years to go. I've heard you loud and clear. I take full responsibility. Whatever that went wrong, but give me a chance to stand
and take some actions in that speech as well. Take some actions in that.
That one I know about the other action.
I won't say which actions, but at least take some.
You will take some administrative action. Correct.
Absolutely.
Okay. Pa Joyce.
Yeah.
I know you're returnable.
Hello. I come back to square one. The president can come on and speak to the nations. Good thing. But I always say this, don't listen to what they say. Listen to see what they're doing. Don't listen to what they say, see what they're doing.
Whose side of Joyce Weir you know about President Joyce Weir, Amon Joyce? All of you seen me, Jeff Flipper, right? What's Dr. Weir?
Dr. Weir, if you had to ask me to summarize the good side of Dr. Weir. The good side of that where he pretends.
Oh my goodness. The liberal is the liberal. Go ahead.
He pretends. That's a good side of him. Look, the issue here, President Weah can come back to the middle. He can come and say all he wants to say. It boils down to one thing, Mr. Tool, the economy. How can President Weah revise the Liberian economy? Since President Weah took over, the economy has not grown. It's shrinking. Shrinking. That is the major issue. So a person where can come in and say, look, I understand. And I see in the votes, I listen to you. Give me a chance. Okay. But what you going to do now to implement those policies that you say you heard in? That is the issue. Those policies cannot be implemented in the absence of money. We got high unemployment rate. People find it difficult to survive. You know, people are calling to show you. Road construction, hospitals, health. These are things that need money, real money. It's not 10 million now, it's not 15 million now. How can you do those work if the economy is shrinking? So anything you tell the people, it will come back tomorrow to bite you.
Oh,
that is a difficult time, that person. The government found themselves in. So I got the point. He can come address the nation, will be very fine. And then I'm going to commend him. The election was okay. I would say 90% was okay. But the pressing issue, the bread and butter, how would Yagbawolo tomorrow get food to eat? How would Yagbawolo pay his daughter's school fee?
All right. The Liberal Progressive. You see him? You see? That's the only problem. I'm not, you see, now because his mic is muted. Oh,
hello. Yeah. I just want to thank you for the show tonight. On a very serious note, I think we have a good show tonight. You brought us on. I have almost an hour of people calling in, expressing themselves. What I didn't hear a lot tonight is the anger from the callers. It seemed to me, I could be wrong, but most of their call, even though they were expressing frustration, but I don't see it as being angry with the present government, which is a good thing. They're frustrated, and it seemed to me, they're telling the president, you got to watch because they're sending the message. And I think if a citizen will come and talk without being angry and just express their frustration with a lower level of emotional involvement into how they express themselves, is a good thing. And I think we here in Liberian Public Radio and many other platforms on the social media need to tap into. Thank you very much. But here you go. I'm talking to people. What's that supposed to
Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for such a beautiful program. Always good to have you here, and I hope we're going to be back here. To you, our follower, listeners, your comments, your tweets, we want to welcome you. It is because of you we are here. Thank you so much for being part of tonight's program. By God's willing, we're going to be back here by 12 o'clock tomorrow. There's a musical concept, complete unilateral ceasefire on politics. I'm not sure whether the Liberal Progressive is coming on, but we're going to have a fundraiser here for a group. So come, they are doing an extraordinary job in Liberia. And just to let you know, out of respect, I will be away for a week, taking a little bit break. The Liberal here, Samson Toe, has burned me out. He did not come on this whole week because they flock his candidate. So he been depressed. He been stressed out. I've been counseling him, making sure to bring him here. And then when I come, I bring him here, then he want to act like something. But He's one of our strong. He's one of the brand behind this network. Yeah, don't mind. We can clash there, but as soon as I get out of the show, Jenna, he will call me and he will ask me how did he do, and I tell you, he says 0, ZERO. Then he buzzed the win. But folks, by God's willing, hopefully by next Sunday I will be back. Tomorrow, after tomorrow, we're going to be taking a break. The Liberal Progressive will be taking control. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us. Click the notification so that you get an alert. Again, we are putting it out there. BS Seditions. We have what's his name? Professor Zawlo here. He's a strong sedition. Any of you that support any of the parties that you want to be a contributor here, we want to kind of get a balance so that both sides will be heard. It doesn't mean you come here, you're speaking on behalf of the party. No, but you're expressing your view and admirations about the party while you're supporting the party. So if you want to be a contributor here, male, female, anybody who wants to engage the conversations, let us know. It doesn't require anything. You're not going to pay. There's no fees attached, nothing. All you do, commitment, and it doesn't mean you are committed 24-hour every time. As long as you have the time, you can be here. So we want to thank you so much. So,
Mr. So, if you don't mind, you said you were going. Mr. So, can you hear me?
What you say?
You said you were going on vacation.
You want?
I told her last week. The last time Mr. So said here, we're not going to say for last week. Again.
No, but I know exactly. It looked like you're going to Liberia to console the president and CDC. It seemed to me.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my president.
Mm-hmm.
Is he not your president?
Okay.
That we have picture in the upper hand, left hand corner every time. The president, my president.
All right, well, thank you very much, and I'll say good night to all of you as well.
They feel they have never had 61.2%.
You were here to Monday.
Yeah, Monday, right? Yeah, look, I think it was a fascinating conversation. So, folks, for those, you want to be a contributor, and again, you can also send us inbox if there's specific things you want us to talk about, so we can talk about it. You know, we're looking to come on board, men, women, whatever. As long as you have the, you're able to do it. Guys, thank you so much, and have a pleasant evening.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Sonia, oh, Sonia, tous avec la foi pour le développement de Dieu. I'm one your bed for one day back. So my young one day, you got my money to that. You know the idea of you ain't no other no more. So send your money, Madame
Peace. It's T-Will on the beat.
Yahweh. Hey, Yahweh. Hey, Yahweh. Yeah, Yahweh. Yahweh, come for my rescue. Yeah, I fight my battle. Jesus fight my battle. Yeah, I fight my battle. Fight us so fight against me. Yeah, I fight my battle. Jesus fight my battle. Yeah, I fight my battle. Fight us so fight against me. Yeah, I fight my battle. Jesus fight my battle. Yeah, I fight my battle. Fight us so fight against me. Yeah, I fight my battle. This battle is so heavy for me, no. I cannot fight it alone, no. You promised to fight it for me, no. Yeah, fight my battle, Jehovah, fight my battle, man. Lpr, fight my battle, Fight it and make me a winner. What kind of life when you're living? When I apply for trouble, can I get it? What kind of life I'm living today? When I hear someone, they don't recognize me. What sort of life when you're living? My friends are children, but I don't have one, no. What kind of life I'm living today? When I read my application, they don't accept it. Papa, fight my battle, fight that depression battle, man. Jehovah, fight my battle, fight the suppression battle.
Jesus, fight my battle. Lion of the tribe of Julia, miracle working God, fight this battle for me, Lord.